What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Game Week 34, the double Game Week 34 deadline stream. How are you guys doing? Let me just quickly check if everything is in place. Again, I don't want to do the same mistakes of talking on the stream for a long time without really going live. I hope I'm live. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me. Welcome to all of you. Another very important deadline. I think probably the most interesting game week or the double game week left for this particular season. I think there's a lot to gain, there's a lot to lose. I kind of made a certain set of moves last game week, and I think they didn't kind of pay off. But let's just keep our fingers crossed. I'm hoping I get a good or a decent green arrow at least this week. But yeah, I mean, there are a few ways, there are a few directions to look at, to go for, especially when you are looking to kind of differentiate from the crowd. You're looking to kind of gain rank. I think there are certain sets of options to kind of go for, and I think now is the time we actually take into stock in terms of what do we want to do with our rank. Do we want to really chase? Do we want to go very aggressive? Maybe you have had a bad season, maybe you haven't really had the nice set of points that you probably expected, and now you want to kind of make those gains. So you have to kind of understand and make those decisions, and I think it starts from this week. Very interesting, very important game week where a lot of teams are doubling. A lot of good players we have would have double game weeks. So I think it'll be interesting. I think there'll be a lot of variance as well, especially for the likes of people who are going for Stones, maybe KDBs, maybe a Jota as well. Jota is right now is flagged and maybe he gets limited minutes. We'll talk about all of those stuff as well. But yeah, feel free to add anything in the comments, anything in the chat if you get to know anything regarding news, injuries, lineups, or if you have any questions regarding anything at all, please feel free to add that. Hello to all of you again. Welcome to the stream. Hey Devargya, hello to you. So you have mentioned your team at the very beginning. So it's Steele, Estupinian, Stones, Dallo, Willock, Rashford, Salah, De Bruyne, March, Haaland, Jota. In your bench, you have Adrian, Egward, Greenwood, Totti, which is a free hit team basically. Your total squad value is 100.9, sorry. And yeah, that's about it. It's a free hit team. Steele, I think it's a good option on a free hit. I think it kind of helps us to go a little bit more aggressive in terms of our defense, midfield, and attack because you can invest more money. And I generally don't think Edison is a huge upgrade over somebody like a Steele, over somebody like a David Gea, Raya, maybe. So I think going to Steele is absolutely fine. As to opinion, I mean, doubling up on the Brighton defense is a bit tricky because, I mean, I still back their attack. I would still back one of their attackers to maybe get returns in both games, in one of the games, maybe get it shared across the two set of fixtures. So I think defense is still a bit tricky because they're not really keeping a lot of clean sheets and they are an attack first team. I mean, we have to understand that Brighton are an attack first team. They like to play on the front foot. They won't sit back and defend. And I think that's the reason I'm not very heavy on terms of going with the double Brighton defense. I think Dallo is a good pick. Willock is a very interesting shout. I think hardly anyone would have him. He doesn't have a double game week. Everybody's kind of blinded by double game week. So I think it's a good punt. Of course, it's not a double game week option, so he can blank. The potential to lose out on points is a bit risky. I mean, this is a risky draft because of the fact that it also has Jota. I love the fact that it has Salah and De Bruyne. I think that's the biggest advantage of free hit in Gaming 34, that you can get on to both Salah and De Bruyne in one team. I think overall it's a decent team. I'll probably just change that double Brighton defense. I think, and if it was me, I probably won't look at Willock. But if you feeling punty, if you feel that he's a good option, I think yeah, I mean, absolutely go for it. And whom to captain as well as a differential. So if you're looking at differential, I think I still have a feeling it's going to be very close between Jota and KDB for minutes. I'm not saying in terms of points potential, but I think in minutes it's going to be very close. Now, I'm expecting KDB to probably even play a little lesser because of the fact that there's also the Champions League game sandwiched, and I think Man City have a lot to play for. Of course, they're still in the Champions League. They still have to win those games. So I still have a feeling that KDB will start, but maybe he gets limited minutes. Now with Jota, it's about the first game, right? If the back knock that he had, if it's very serious, I think he may not get a start. But I'm fully expecting him to start the second game because I don't think so. It's a serious injury. It didn't feel like a serious injury. It just felt like a knock. So I think if I'm really chasing the upside, I think I'll still take my chances with the Jota. Having said that, KDB is a good option as well. It's just the fact that Jota is playing two home games where Liverpool is very strong. Liverpool are generally very strong at Anfield. And I think the fixtures are there to get, massive hauls. I think Tottenham and Fulham both are there for the taking. They are again. I mean, Tottenham could be a bit tricky, but Fulham is definitely a side who doesn't defend a lot. I mean, they do concede a lot of goals. They do concede a lot of chances. Jota is in fine form. He is a streaky player, and I think he will get minutes. I don't think so unless he's really he cannot even stand, he cannot even kick the ball. I don't think so. There's a possibility that he doesn't start. So I think he's a good option, and probably slightly better option than KDB. Kane away against Liverpool or Martinelli home against Chelsea. I think it's probably going to be Martinelli at home. Martinelli at home. That's the first caveat, or you know the first point to consider here. I think Arsenal at home are a very, very strong proposition. Then it's Chelsea, right? So, I mean, with Chelsea, it's very difficult to predict, of course, what's going to happen, what kind of Chelsea team is going to turn up every week. But I think there's a lot of good potential in a Martinelli. Martinelli has been one of the best attackers for the Arsenal team overall. I mean, forget the Man City game. Not every game is going to be the Man City game. But I think Chelsea is looking toothless. They don't have a shape. They don't have a structure. They don't have a proper manager. No disrespect to Lampard or Chelsea fans, but I just feel that there's a lot of good potential in Arsenal really hammering Chelsea, right? And I think Martinelli being Arsenal's best option, I think it's a better option to go for. Kane away against Liverpool. Kane away or home. I think it's anywhere. I think he still has a good potential to score points because the fact that he's been the Mr. Consistent for Tottenham, and I think he is the one who's actually gotten Tottenham to this level, right? Otherwise, they would have been far off. So I feel Kane away is still a good option, but I think Martinelli at home is slightly better against a slightly weaker opposition as well, who doesn't have any idea in terms of what's going on with them. I think Liverpool at home are still stronger. I mean, they concede less goals, they play a lot better. So I'm expecting it to be a tight game for Tottenham to score. I mean, Kane can still score, but I think Martinelli at home is better. Haaland benched, Greenwood to start. I mean, I don't. So I don't think so. Haaland is going to be benched. I don't think so. Anyone should bench Haaland and start Greenwood. Greenwood, I don't think so. Is going to start anyways for Leeds, and yeah, let's not really spend a lot of time there. Hey Brian, hello to you. Welcome to the stream. There are a few factors to this decision for me, but basically, do you think Alvarez in Gaming 35 is better than Isak in Gaming 35 plus zero point 0.8 extra in Gaming 38 for Gaming 38 transfer? So, I mean, to be very, very honest, right now we do have no idea what's going to happen in Gaming 38. Right now, we don't know whether Man City bottles up or bottles the league basically, and then hands it over to Arsenal back again. We don't know that. We don't know if Arsenal is really going to get out of the title fight this week itself. I mean, Game Week 38 is quite far fetched. I know it's just 3 to 4 weeks, but it just feels like a lot far fetched. We don't know what's going to happen till then in terms of the relegation spots, the European spots as well. I mean, point 0.8 is great to basically have some wiggle room in your bank in terms of making some additional transfers. But maybe you can take a hit, maybe you can downgrade a certain player by that point of time. You can do any of these options. So yes, you need some money to kind of make certain moves, but I don't think so. It's a big deal to have that much money. I think I mean, Alvarez in Gaming 35 is still risky. Alvarez in any week is probably very risky because the fact that, he isn't getting starts. So we can always see Haaland maybe getting a start in every game, maybe playing 45 minutes, maybe playing 60 minutes, and then, somebody like an Alvarez filling that next 30 or 40 or maybe a half, right? Yes, there's also a possibility that Alvarez can get a start in Gaming 35 because of the fact that, it's that particular fixture is sandwiched between the two Champions League games and the midweek fixture as well. So I think there is potential in that fixture for a Haaland rest. So, but again, at the end of the day, we are all still speculating, right? Nothing is confirmed. We haven't seen that Haaland gets a rest and Alvarez is getting more minutes. We've not seen that across the season. Haaland is pivotal to that Man City attack, and I think I mean, Alvarez, yes, he's punty, he's risky, he's aggressive option, and he's of course playing for the best attack in the league. And his expected numbers per 90 minutes, of course, he doesn't play 90 minutes, but whenever the data kind of corresponds to expected minutes per 90, expected points per 90, I think that number and that those performances are very, very good. But I'll still probably not take my chance. I think I'll still take my chance on Isak. I think Isak, yes, he did get that rest, but I still feel he's probably first choice. He gets majority minutes, and I think, I mean, even when he came on, right, and he should have gotten that assist for the Newcastle goal. I mean, very, very unlucky that he didn't get the assist. He looked really good as well. So I think Isak in Gaming 35 plus the extra money is absolutely fine. I generally feel Isak is the much, much better option than Alvarez. Alvarez is maybe good for a week, maybe two, but I still have my doubts over that. So I think Isak will be the option here. I would actually bench Alvarez this week due to X minutes. I mean, X minutes is a problem with him in every week, to be very, very honest. This purely on Gaming 35. Game week 35 is also like a punt. I mean, we are expecting Alvarez to get a start, get majority minutes, and Haaland to get benched. That may not happen. And I need Alvarez, Isak to fund Raya to Edison. I mean, I think Isak is absolutely fine. You do the if you can do the Raya to Edison move with Isak as an option, he gives you a potential gaming 36 option as well. I don't think so. Many people will look for captaincy, but maybe if we feel that he's nailed, he's an alternate, an alternate captaincy option to somebody like a Trippier as well, or maybe in the Brighton assets as well. So I think Isak and the combination from Riot Edison still a lot better. Alvarez or Jota, I still feel Jota is the better option. He's definitely the more nailed option. Yes, he has that back issue or that knock that he suffered, but I still feel that he's gonna get more minutes. I think definitely more minutes than Alvarez. I think he's been in great form. I know that Alvarez will also get returns because Man City will keep scoring goals, but I think Jota in this form, I think will get more minutes, will get more points, will get more goals and overall returns. And I think he's just a better option. Now, in case there's a slight caveat here, in case if you are basically trying to get in Jota right now, and then you plan to shift him to Isak, then a potential direction kind of opens up where you just directly go for Isak. You may play him, you may bench him, may just play with Haaland. I'm assuming you have a third Dutch striker or maybe a striker like a Solanke or whatever who you probably won't play this week. So you can also play like a 4-5-1 or a 5-4-1. Those sort of formations. Maybe a 4-4-2 as well with something like an Isak on the bench as well. So that's an option, but personally for me, I know it's an additional transfer where you basically go from Jota to Isak in game week 36, but I still feel it's worth the upside. I still feel it's worth the risk. Now, in case if you feel that it's very risky, you probably don't want to take that risk. You have a settled squad, you have a decent squad, you can makeshift or you can make do with not playing Jota, not getting in Jota, not playing him, and then just getting in Isak and benching him this week. I think then in that scenario, you probably just get in Isak directly. But if it was me, I would probably, and I've kind of done that as well. I've gotten Jota this week for a hit. I will stick with him for a couple of weeks. I think it's three fixtures, right? Two of this week and then a fixture after that in 35. And in gaming 36, I basically do the Jota to Isak move. So I would personally do that. It's more aggressive. It's an additional transfer, but I think it's worth it. Gets a defender, not the goalkeeper. I agree. Edison doesn't really have a lot of upside. I think there's a lot of potential, or slightly more potential, I would say, in something like a Stones, for example. Yes, the risk with Stones is a lot higher than Edison. I mean, Edison's definitely not going to get benched unless he's injured or unless Pep absolutely goes crazy. I don't think so. Edison is going to get benched. There's a possibility that any of the outfielders, basically the defenders as well, whether it's Stones, whether it's Laporte, whether it's a Kanji, for example, or a Walker. I mean, all of them can get rotated, get limited minutes. So you are taking a bit of a risk with something like a Stones as well, but I think there is slightly higher upside because the fact that Stones is playing in a central position. He's playing in a slightly more advanced position where he can take those shots from center of the pitch, where he can also complete more passes, where he can also become a better prospect in terms of overall bonus points as well. So I think there's a risk, but again, it's about how aggressive you want to go right now. If you want to go safe, Edison is the pick. Don't look elsewhere. But I think if you are okay going a bit aggressive, I think there is some potential in Stones, absolutely with the risk of limited minutes. But I think there is definitely a potential in Stones, especially for this week. KDB or Salah, if you're going safe, absolutely Salah. I think is a great option. None of them are a must-have for sure. I mean, you can also go for something like a Bruno Fernandes, for example. But I think if you're going safe, if you want to protect the ownership, I think Salah's ownership is going to be pretty high this week. A lot might also captain him, especially who are not thinking of captaining Haaland. I think he's the best alternative captaincy option to Haaland. So I think if you're going safe, you go Salah. In case if you're chasing, let's say if you are in a position where you need a lot of points in the next 3 or 4 weeks, maybe you're very far off or behind in your mini leagues, maybe you just have not had the good season and you probably now want to catch up on rank, gain a lot of positions, gain a lot of rank, and basically you're chasing at the end of the day. I think then you go with a KDB. With in terms of minutes, Salah is a lot safer because I'm expecting him to start both games. Like, I'm expecting him to play majority of the fixtures, majority of the game time in those fixtures, and I think that, I mean, we cannot very comfortably say that for KDB. So I think overall, again, as I said, safer is Salah, slightly riskier, more aggressive is KDB. Both are good options this week. Estupinian to Shaw looks pretty good. I think United defender this week is absolutely fine. I'm a little bit skeptical with Shaw, especially the fact that he may play in a centre back position. Now that limits his attacking threat, especially when as compared to when he's playing in that left back spot. But I think there's still some potential in Shaw. I mean, we've seen that he can even take shots. We've seen that he will be on certain set pieces. And I think playing as a centre back maybe also kind of gives him more of the ball, gives him more chances to basically complete more accurate passes. So that might be a little bit helpful in terms of his bonus points if United keep a clean sheet. If it's like a close game, maybe like a nil-nil, 1-0 of sorts. I think again it's two fixtures, so of course the potential for clean sheets is a couple of games, but I think it's Aston Villa and Brighton, so not the easiest set of fixtures, but I think Luke Shaw still can deliver this week. Great content as always. Thank you so much for that lovely comment. I'm 49 points behind in my mini league, and we have similar teams. Is Salah a must differential captain this week? I mean, he's not a must differential captain. So, in case if you have a KDB, for example, you can also go for KDB. Apart from KDB, Salah and Haaland being the most popular captaincy option, I think the only player, realistically, the only player that I look at is probably Rashford, because of the fact that he's in great form, because of the fact that Aston Villa and Brighton both are attacking front foot, football teams. They will leave a lot of spaces behind. They will give opportunities to Man United to score and basically create a lot of those attacking plays. And I think Rashford in particular. I mean, I know that Bruno Fernandes has also been doing really well. I mean, in terms of the eye test side, if you've seen United playing in the recent games, I mean, Fernandes's owners have been very, very unlucky in terms of not getting returns. I mean, he should have gotten that winner against Tottenham as well, which he didn't. So it's been a bit unlucky. And maybe if he had a couple of more returns in him, I think this conversation would have been slightly different. But I think overall, Rashford is the option to go for. But yeah, I mean, Salah is not a must-have or a must-go-to differential captain this week. I think there are a couple of other options as well that you can kind of look at. Uh, in terms of the coming weeks, I think when we talk about captaincy in the coming weeks, I think it's difficult to shy away from Man City, because so Man City is facing Leeds in Gaming 35. I don't think so. You'll look at any other options. I think Man City versus Leeds is probably a great fixture. There's a slight chance that maybe Man City puts up, or Pep puts up, a very second string. Can't even call them second string because they're very strong and they have two teams available to them. But I think they may, have a lot of rotation in there. Okay, in the lead section. So it's a bit tricky to predict if Haaland is actually going to start right now. But I think it's a good fixture for Haaland captaincy. I mean, when we look at alternative options, we have Salah. Salah is facing Brentford. It's not the most easiest set of fixtures. And United is against West Ham again, not very easy. I think there are opportunities to go against maybe Man City in Gaming 37 is Chelsea and Brighton. It's going to be a tricky set of fixtures. I'd still feel Chelsea is probably the easier game. But then you look at Chelsea having a double, no chance that you will go captaincy there. You have Liverpool against Aston Villa, single fixture, but a good fixture. Then you have maybe you can probably even look at Man United, Bournemouth, and Chelsea. So that's also a decent shout. It's not a lot of weeks where you can differentiate, but yeah, I think this is definitely a week where you can try it. But I think in every week it's a huge risk going against Haaland in terms of captaincy. I think there's a lot of there are a lot of negatives, a lot of losses that you can probably have because of the fact that Man City has been in such great form and Haaland has been scoring a lot of goals. So I think it's tricky, but yeah, I mean there are maybe a couple of weeks where you can differentiate, including this one. Hey Paramveer, how you doing? I'm doing great, thank you so much. Edison, Trent, Robertson, Dallo, Shaw, KDB, Salah, March, Mitoma, Rashford, Haaland, captain, free hit team. I'm a bit worried about Jota to get a rest, as Liverpool has had a double game week. Has a double game week. Do you think Grealish for KDB? Um, no, I think KDB. If you're going on a free hit, I think KDB is like the better option to go for. I think Grealish is going to be the most popular option in terms of the regular managers not free hitting or not wildcarding this week. But I think on a free hit, KDB really makes sense. I think it's absolutely fine. Jota is risky, uh, so maybe you can not double down on the United defense. Maybe do something different there, and maybe go for a Liverpool option. Maybe a double. I mean, the double up on Liverpool is already there. So Trent and Robertson's there. Maybe go for a Man City defender as well. Maybe go for something like a Stones instead of Dallo and Shaw, because United can keep clean sheets, but there is potential to lose them both in this set of fixtures because of the fact that their opposition is really good. I mean, both oppositions are very attacking. So I think that's probably one change that I'll do. Maybe take one of Dallo or Shaw. Maybe you can take Shaw, considering Dallo is a slightly higher upside pick. Maybe he's going to play in a more attacking position than Shaw, considering that Shaw plays in a centre back role. I think overall it looks pretty fine. Jota is a good option, but a risky option. If you feel that he's not going to start, don't start him. And I think overall this team looks pretty decent. I mean, Edison's also there, so maybe not the third Man City option won't be there, but you can go for Steele because I don't see a Brighton defense. So you maybe you can go for Steele as one of your your keepers, and then take out a Shaw and then get in something like a Stones. I think that is some basically a slight change that you can do in this particular free hit team. Can you have a look at some of our teams on FPL team? I mean, if you can share it here, if you maybe have, you can just write that down the team. I'll probably have a look at it here. Doing Chilwell to Trent, but then need 1.2 million to afford. So I was thinking Watkins to a 6.4 million striker. Also, what do you think about Isak to Jota and then doing the other two transfers as well for a -8? I mean, Chilwell to Trent is great. Watkins to, I mean, Isak to Jota. If you want to get back to Isak again, taking him out this week, then getting to Jota, and then again getting back to Isak, I personally don't think so. It's worth it. Maybe try to differentiate in a different position. And 6.4 striker, I mean, either you just go for a Dutch striker like a Greenwood, for example, save that additional money, and maybe use that additional money to make other transfers. I think that's a better way to do it. Isak is, I think, 6.7, 6.8. So, of course, and you already have Isak. Otherwise, Solanke is an option, but I don't think so. It makes more sense to go for Solanke. If you're not playing this option, I don't think so. This becomes a realistic transfer at all. I think you can just dead end this particular spot. Maybe play a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 for most weeks, and I think you'll be absolutely fine. Would you start Trippier or Isak? I think I'll personally start Isak, higher upside. Newcastle have not kept a lot of clean sheets since the FPL restart. Their defense is a bit shaky. Whether it's home, whether it's away, I mean, they have the potential to concede. So I think Isak, I know there's a slight risk with him in terms of minutes. Maybe he gets benched again and Wilson starts, but I do have a feeling that because of the short turnaround time, I think Wilson this time is going to get benched and Isak gets a start. Southampton is a prime fixture for a huge haul. So I think even if, I mean, Trippier's not even looked that attacking, to be very honest. His attacking stats have also gone down. So it's not that Trippier is providing us, with attacking impetus. Now, having said that, he can absolutely smash it this week. Considering the fact that he's not gotten goals, considering the fact that he's not gotten regular assists, I mean, he can absolutely do that this week. But I still feel with Isak, you're running a bit of a risk in terms of maybe his minutes. But I think there is still a lot more to gain with Isak. Yes, if you're playing safer, you go for Trippier. But I think this the definitely more aggressive move is Isak, and I also would go for Isak here. Hello, Mohammed. Hello to you. Welcome to the stream. I hope I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you're doing great too. I have Watkins and not enough to go for Jota. What do I do? If you have Watkins, I mean, Watkins is it's not a definite sell, but there is potential to sell him. You can maybe go to Isak and bench him. That's one option. The other option is to basically take out a different player and try to upgrade Watkins. I think the difference between both probably would be around 1-ish million, something like that. So maybe take out a different option. Maybe you have some additional money in your goalkeeper, maybe in one of your defenders. Maybe you can, dead end your defensive position, maybe your fifth defender or your fourth defender. Take out money from there. I don't know what the other players or what the other options in your team are, but I think those are certain directions you can look at. If at all you cannot make any changes, then maybe the other option would be to kind of sacrifice Jota, let go of Jota, and then move towards an Isak and prepare that team for 36. That's also an option. Who would you recommend, Edison, Stones, or Grealish? I mean, being the attacking option, definitely Grealish, but there is potential for you know uh, them being rotated. I mean, Foden is getting regular minutes now. I mean, yes, he's coming from the bench, but he can get a start at least one of the games. I still feel Grealish is going to start one of the games, but the other game is up for grabs, and I think there's a good chance that Foden can share minutes with Grealish. But I think overall, also, I think it's probably a bit closer between Stones and Grealish because Stones can keep a couple of clean sheets if he starts both games. Yeah, but I think I would still recommend Grealish. Me being me, and me being a slightly more aggressive player, I think I would still say Grealish is probably the better option to go for, considering that he's an attacker and there's a slightly higher ceiling with Grealish. Edison is a safe option, but Man City aren't keeping clean sheets. They have, I mean, they've shown the tendency to concede one. I mean, they do end up scoring 3 or 4 goals, but then they also have conceded, a single goal in majority of those games, right? So they're not keeping clean sheets. Edison is either a 2 pointer or a 6 pointer, so the ceiling is definitely lesser. So I would, irrespective of whether you're playing safe, aggressive, or whatever that strategy is, I would still say it's probably going to be Grealish, Stones, and Edison in that order. There's not a lot to gain with Edison. Stones, yes, in a slightly advanced position, he can maybe give you attacking returns, but I would still say Grealish is probably the one to go for. I can't lie, I'm on a triple Brighton mid. That's absolutely fine. Triple Brighton mid is a great way to differentiate March, Mitoma, and McAllister. I don't think so. That's a combination that a lot of people would own. I think even on a free hit, people aren't really going for something like that. Maybe if somebody has KDB plus Salah in their team, the other three spots are then those three Brighton mids. But then that way they are losing that Man United attacker, which at least people are going for one of them. If not, Fernandez, maybe people are looking at Rashford. So I think it's a great way to differentiate. Of course, when you're going a bit different, a bit differential against the crowd, there's always a higher chance to fall flat on the ground and then lose out on a lot of points. But I think that's the risk that you take, and yeah, you make your bet with it and you move on with that. Already on a -8, should I get Edison over Raya for an additional -4? I personally don't think so. It's worth it. I think so. My idea of not using that third spot because I am in the same position, of course, not with the hits because I took a -4 and then this Raya to Edison transfer would have been a -8 for my team. But I personally don't think so. It's worth it. I mean, Raya can definitely get a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest at home. And if I'm taking Edison, as I said, Edison is not a higher upside pick. He maybe gets 12 points. At the max, he maybe gets 12 points. Also, the fact that, City don't really score one goal or, it's never a nil-nil with Man City. They always end up scoring 3 or 4 goals. So the bonus points are also not very high among those defenders. Even the goalkeeper, unless somebody gives an assist or somebody basically scores a goal, something like that, right? So I think the ceiling with Edison is 12 points. You take a hit, it's basically 8 points. I think Raya can cover off those 8 points with 6 points, for himself. So I think the net loss that you basically have is basically 2 points. Of course, it's assuming that Edison keeps clean in both the games. Raya keeps his clean in the game against Forest. But this is a best case scenario. I think it's not a huge loss. And I personally think another reason of not doing the Edison move is that right now I have Haaland and Grealish. I think there is a slight potential to go a bit differential in the upcoming weeks. Let's say, for example, we see by gaming 37, maybe Mahrez is getting more starts, maybe Foden is getting more starts, maybe Alvarez all of a sudden starts getting, more game time. I think it's okay to leave yourself into that spot, into that position where you can try to attack more. Because again, at the end of the day, Edison would still probably, even if the best case scenario, if he keeps giving you clean sheets, it's just going to be 6 points, right? With somebody, let's say like a Mahrez, let's say like a Foden, maybe even an Alvarez, who are explosive picks. Yes, minutes risk is there, but they are explosive picks. They can easily cover off those couple of clean sheets in a single game, right? So do remember that. And if the strategy that I'm saying is basically making sense to you, then the Edison move doesn't make sense. And keep that spot open. Try to attack if you want to. If you've made up your mind that I don't want to attack, I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to play the pep roulette, and I want to go absolutely safer. I don't want to lose my sleep over this. In that case, just get an Edison. Otherwise, keep that spot open. I personally don't think so. It's worth an additional hit. Your thoughts on Wan-Bissaka or Dalot instead of Shaw? I think Dalot is probably better. I still feel, I mean, it depends on the Maguire injury as well. If he's out, I don't think so he's out for the season though. But if he is, then I think Shaw basically plays in that centre back role. And then we will have Dalot and Wan-Bissaka both playing. In terms of attacking output, it just feels that Dalot is a slightly more comfortable player in terms of crossing the ball, in terms of getting those shots in. Wan-Bissaka kind of gets into very interesting and very good positions, but then he doesn't know what to do from there, right? And we've seen that he's a great defender. He's a great defensive option, but I don't think so. He's the attacking option that we look at, especially from an FPL point of view, right? So I think out of the two, first of all, I still feel Shaw has the best potential. But out of the two, if I'm looking at Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, basically, I think Dalot is the better option. Triple captain, Haaland or Salah. I think, again, if you go safer, I think Haaland is a great option this week. I don't think so. Minutes are going to be a huge problem for Haaland in terms of starts, basically. Yes, he can absolutely get rested or, absolutely basically get subbed in one of those games when City is probably leading 3 or 4 goals. And maybe by halftime, it's that position. Maybe Haaland unluckily hasn't really gotten any returns or maybe just a single return. Then I don't think so he's going to come out in the second half. But I think the possibility of City scoring 3 or 4 goals and Haaland not getting anything or just getting one return is a lot lesser, right? Though having said that, again, we've seen weirder things where I think Liverpool won 9-0. I'm forgetting the team. I think was it Southampton? Correct me if I'm wrong. That game, and I think Salah didn't end up getting a single return. Basically, he had 18 opportunities to get a return, and he kind of didn't get a single return in those 9 goals from Liverpool. So I think, yeah, I mean, there's always a chance that that could happen, but I still feel safer is definitely going with Haaland. In case if you're chasing, in case if you're going aggressive, I think then is where you look at kind of Salah, you look at Rashford, for example. If the conversation is only between Haaland and Salah, I think it's still the better option or the more potential option is still going for Erling Haaland. Yes, majority of the FPL managers are going to captain Erling Haaland, so basically his effective ownership or his total ownership is going to be around 200%, right? And the absolute gain is basically, let's say if all of us or majority managers are getting maybe 20 points or 30 points from a Haaland haul, you'll probably end up getting 30 or what, let's say if it's 20, you end up getting 30. So it's basically 10 more points, or you know uh, that single amount of points that you're gaining. So the gain is definitely going to be lesser. With a Salah, I think his ownership is probably going to be 100%, and you triple captaining him, of course, gives you a higher advantage, but then you will also be kind of losing out on points if Haaland basically gets a massive haul, right? So I think it's a tricky one. I still feel Haaland is the better option to go for. In case if you're massively chasing, then you consider Salah, otherwise it's Haaland. Don't have the funds to make Raya to Edison move. Which goalkeeper should I take a -4 if I plan to transfer out Raya? I already have triple Brighton. Maybe go for David De Gea. I still don't expect United to keep clean sheets. I still have a feeling that they lose clean sheets in both the games. Uh, but yeah, I mean, David De Gea is definitely one option. Triple Brighton kind of moves you out from a steal. In terms of the other goalkeeping options, I mean, West Ham does have a double, but again, it's not at all clean sheet fixtures for West Ham. So I think I'll be fine. I'll probably just not take that hit, keep that spot open, and try to make my gains elsewhere. I think that's what I'll do. Risky starting Nathan Ake or start Trippier. I think Ake is injured still. Let me just quickly check that. Might have missed out on something. I mean, he still has a flag for the hamstring injury that he had. I don't think so. I don't think so. He's gonna get a start. I think you start Trippier. I mean, you can always put him, but I don't think so. He's gonna feature. But just the odd possibility that in a double game week he gets a minute or two, right? That will kind of block you from a Trippier. I don't think so. It's worth the risk. I think you just start Trippier. Has a good fixture against Southampton. There is potential for a clean sheet. I know that I said that Newcastle, of course, haven't been keeping a lot of clean sheets, but I still think when it's Nathan Ake, right, I possibly won't take my chance to, to just have that 1 or 2 minutes and then kind of lose out on maybe a massive haul. Of course, you're losing out on points. That's number one. You're losing out on a lot of rank because of the fact that a lot of people would still start Trippier. I mean, despite of this being a double game week, a lot of people are having 10 to 11, maybe 11 double game week players, but they're still kind of looking to start Trippier because they want to be a little bit protective of their rank. So I think you just start Trippier and not take that additional risk. Should I use a triple captain this week? So in case if you're not using any chip, maybe you don't have the free hit, you don't have the wild card, no bench boost available. If you chipless basically, I think in that scenario, I think this is a good week to use the triple captain chip. 37 is also an option, but again, we don't know what's gonna happen by 37. So I think you basically go for what you know. You understand this current situation. There's a highest chance that Haaland basically gets 2 starts in this particular week. The fixtures are really good. Good for Hall potential. He has been scoring great. If you're looking at triple captain option, I still feel Haaland is the best option to go for, and you just take that chance. Starting Solanke or Botman, I think I'll still take my chances with a Solanke. It's Leeds, right? Leeds do end up conceding a lot of goals. Having said that, I mean, Bournemouth did look a bit off in terms of the last game that they played. Yes, it was still a 1-0, I think 1-0 win for Bournemouth, but I still feel Leeds have the potential to absolutely crumble. Concede a lot of goals, concede a lot of chances. I think Solanke is the pick to go for. Botman is again a pick, let's say like an Edison, right? He's a pick that he's probably not going to give you anything in attacking returns. He doesn't have any attacking threat. There is a slight potential where he can maybe get you bonus points, but I still have my doubts there. So I'll take my chance and I'll start Solanke. Higher upside pick, more ceiling, slightly riskier option, but I think it's absolutely worth it. David De Gea, Nathan Ake, Henry, McAllister, Watkins to steal Stones, Trent, Grealish, Greenwood for a -16. For information, I have 3 Brighton mids at the moment. I mean, -16 looks like a bit much for players like Stones is risky. Grealish can get benched. Greenwood is a dud player. I'll try to make some other moves. I think triple Brighton is absolutely fine. You don't have to have Grealish. Maybe you can double up on the Man City defense. I mean, that's an option for sure. I would definitely want to get in Trent. So from these picks that you've mentioned, I think Steel kind of gives you that option to basically save a little bit more money invested elsewhere. But then you have 3 Brighton, so you'll have to take out McAllister, which I still feel it's not worth it because of the fact that Steele may not keep clean sheets and McAllister is somebody who can get if he's playing in a slightly deeper role. I mean, he's still on penalties. There's still some decent potential with him, and I just feel I'll try to. From all of this, I can see that Trent is probably a must-have. I mean, he's still not a must-have, but yeah, I mean, he's still a good option to go for. But other than these options, I mean, all of them are rotation risk, and Greenwood is that player. For a -16, I still don't think so. I'll try to work something else in terms of having McAllister, having a triple Brighton, and then kind of looking away to getting Trent in this team and not take a -16 for it. Is Riot where it's in a good move for a -4? Depends if it's an additional -4. If it's just something that you've already done as a free transfer, for example, let's say you've consumed your free transfer and this is like an additional hit, maybe you go for it. If you've already taken a few hits, I don't think so. In that case, it's worth an additional hit there. I still feel Raya can kind of mitigate the loss from maybe a Edison double clean sheet this week. And again, as I said, I would rather take my chances at the third City spot where I'm basically going a bit aggressive, going a bit risky, and then maybe taking a punt on a different attacker from Man City. I think that would be my approach overall. Is Jota fit to start? I mean, it looks like that he can, maybe get benched this week. I still expect him to start the second fixture for Liverpool in double game week 34. The first fixture is a bit of a worry, and this is where he can probably get limited minutes. Overall, to be honest, I'm expecting him to maybe get about 130, 140 minutes, which is still fine for Jota because, as I said, he's on a good streak. He has been playing really well. He's scoring goals. He's giving Liverpool the required attacking impetus. And I think if if Jota can stand, kick the ball, and run, I think Klopp will still take a chance on him, and I think it's fine. It's a risk for sure because of the fact that you may be letting go of 30, 40 minutes as compared to somebody maybe like an. I know Isak is not a double game week player, but maybe Isak can kind of comes into that conversation. Maybe you don't do this for a hit, for example, if that's the thing, and you just start with Haaland or whosoever as you have in your second striker spot. But it's a risk. If you're willing to accept the risk, if you're okay with it, you go for it. Otherwise, don't make that move. Already on -8, should I get an Edison over Raya? I think I answered this, but I personally won't do it. I'll look elsewhere. To talk about triple captain Haaland as well. I mean, really good option, good potential, has been in great form recently. Then there's a slight doubt in terms of whether he's going to stay on penalties because of the fact that Mahrez has taken the last penalty. That's a legit doubt that could happen absolutely. But I still feel, I mean, Haaland is Haaland, right? We've seen him that he can destroy a team. We've seen that how he and KDB destroyed Arsenal, and I think he's a great pick. There's a slightly higher chance that he starts both games this week as compared to maybe 37 because of the fact that we do not know what's going to happen in 37 because of the fact that of course Champions League final is probably going to come at a later stage, but still maybe Pep would want to keep him fresh, keep him fit if Man City reach the semi-final, or if they reach the final, sorry. But yeah, I think there's still a couple of unknowns in that regard. So gaming 37 right now is looking a bit dodgy. Of course, when we reach there, maybe a better option than 34. But I just feel the fixtures are good. And I feel that both teams that are struggling defensively, they still can concede a lot of goals. And I think Haaland has great potential this week. Two free transfers. Option one, Kane to Jota. Sounds pretty decent. Rico, Henry to Trent. Bench Martin Trippier. Option two, Martin to Pereira. Rico to Trent. Bench Kane. I'll go for the first option, Kane to Jota. It's a high risk move. Kane can do well. I mean, he did burn me last week when I took him out a week earlier. Again, looking back at it in the hindsight, I think I can say it was a wrong move, but I think it was still aggressive and I took my chances with it. But yeah, I'd still do Kane to Jota and then Rico to Trent, and I'll probably bench Martinelli, play Trippier if that's the combination that you can go for. Option three is basically Kane to Alvarez, Rico to Trent, Martin to Bruno. Bench Trippier and play Alvarez and try my luck. I still don't think that's probably worth it. In a double game week where we can probably be a little bit more settled right now, considering the fact that we have some known variables, I still take my chance with the first option. I still like that the best. The fourth option one, but do Martin to Grealish for a hit and then bench Trippier. I mean, I'm okay doing that as well. Basically, option one and then taking a hit as well. So basically, it's Kane to Jota, Henry to Trent, and then Martin to Grealish for a hit. I like that, to be very honest. There's a slight risk with Grealish in terms of minutes, but again, if Grealish is a second option in terms of your Man City player or whatever, I think you can bench Trippier. It's aggressive, it's risky because of the fact that Trippier has a good game and he can do a bit of damage to your rank as well. In case if you're playing with a strategy to protect rank to consolidate your position this week, then don't do the Martin to Grealish move and then bench Trippier. You just go for the option one and then play Trippier and bench Martin. I think that would be my move, or a move if you're trying to protect rank. I've double on Brentford defense and they play Forest, and double on defense Newcastle against Southampton, and Newcastle look very good at home. So should I take a risk and start Trippier and Raya? I mean, you can start Trippier and Raya for sure. Both, I don't think so. Raya will be very heavily owned. I still feel a lot of people have transferred him out. A lot of people maybe not start him this week because of the fact that he's a single game week option player, and they're probably an Edison who's better. I mean, on paper at least, you can say that a double game week player might have two opportunities to get clean sheets rather than maybe a Raya who loses his clean sheet in one game. But I still feel there's good potential with starting both, and I think it's not a wrong decision to absolutely go for both the options in your 11. I think it's absolutely fine. Would you buy Jota for Kane this week and go Chilwell for Trent for free? I think I'll do it. Slightly aggressive move, but I think it's worth it. It's a, I mean, double game weeks are there for a reason, right? They're there for taking a bit of a risk. Right now is a time where only a matter of time is left till the FPL season ends, right? So now you make your bed with the fact that whether you want to go aggressive, whether you want to play safe, you keep a strategy in mind, you pick your battles, you choose your fights, and then I think this is a week where you can actually go a bit aggressive because the fact that it's a double game week, and you probably, let's say you end up taking hits or fair amount of hits, etc. I think you can still kind of cover off those hits. I think on a free, I'll definitely do this move. With Kane, I'm running the risk of basically letting go of points, which I did personally. I did last week as well, because Kane can absolutely score in any game right now, right? I mean, he's looked good, he's looked consistent, and he's not far off from Haaland in terms of FPL potential, FPL points as well. And we all know what Haaland has done this season, so you can understand how well Kane has performed. But I still feel this is a week where we can actually take this decision, try to chase the higher upside, chase the higher ceiling, and then I think Chilwell to Trent for free is also pretty good. If you're playing safe, then maybe letting go of Kane is a bit dodgy, but then I don't think so. By keeping Kane, you will be able to do Chilwell to Trent. So in case if you're playing very safe, in case if you want to protect your rank, and if there's a possibility that you can keep Kane and also do Chilwell to Trent, then you do that. If there's no possibility in this world that you can make that move stick, then you basically just take out Kane, get in Jota, slightly risky, but then you're getting Trent as well, which is pretty good this week. Robertson, Isak, or Shaw, Jota. I think as a combination, I like Robertson, Isak, but Isak doesn't have a double. I'd still take my chances with the Shaw and Jota this week. Shaw has slightly, I mean, it's tricky because of the fact that United are playing to trickier oppositions, to tough attacking teams, but I still take my chances with the Shaw and Jota. I think there's potential there. Is Jota fit to start? May not start the first game, may come from the bench, but I'm pretty confident he starts the second one. And even the fact that Klopp has said that there would be some rotation, so maybe this kind of all leads down to the fact that Nunes gets a start this week and Jota is bench, but I still take my chances there. For a -4, I can get 8 doublers plus I have Raya, Trippier, and Watkins, but I have the free hit left. So should I free hit? I mean, I'll absolutely free hit this week. You get in KDB. I don't think so. It's worth saving it for 37. With 37, you're basically targeting three teams. You're targeting Man City, you're targeting Man United, and then you're targeting your Brighton team, right? Those are the three teams. I mean, genuine teams who have a decent double. I mean, Chelsea also does double in 37, but I hardly think that we're gonna look for Chelsea attackers or Chelsea defenders or even a Kepa, for example, that week. So I think that the ceiling in Game Week 34 is definitely a lot higher. You can get in Salah and KDB as an option as well. You can punt on Jota. You can get in the combination of Trent plus Robertson as well, which is also a differential combination if you don't want to go for Jota. So you can get in Salah plus Robertson plus a Trent this week. I just feel there is more potential. If you have the free hit and if you're only kind of going with 8 doublers and with a hit as well, just play the free hit. I can just do Nathan Ake and Henry to Akanji plus Trent for a -4. I think I'll do it. I'll take my chance with Akanji. I think there is rotation written in that Man City backline, but I'll take my chances with it. Ben Me or Trippier? I think Trippier for sure. Better fixture, more potential. I mean, Ben Me can give you clean sheet points, but I think Nottingham Forest can still score. So I think I'll still go Trippier. Trippier, Botman, or Watkins. Who should I start? If you're going safer, go Trippier. I mean, Watkins can be replaced. I don't know what your plan with Watkins is, but I think if you don't want to replace Watkins for whatever reason, you start Trippier, you bench Botman and Watkins. Hey Soumya, hello to you. Welcome to the stream. Would you transfer in Jota with the knowledge that he may be injured? I don't think so. He's injured. He suffered a knock. Now that might lead Klopp to basically rest him, but I don't think so. He's injured, if you know what I mean. I'm very well aware that he gets limited minutes, and I've accepted the fact that he probably gets about 130, 140 minutes, maybe 120, 130 minutes. But I'll take my chances in a double game week with Jota in that sort of form. I think I will take my chances. It's a risky move if you don't want to take that risk, maybe you have certain players in mind who are basically playing 180 minutes, and you can get away with playing only Haaland as your striker. Maybe play a 4-5-1 with five midfielders and good fourth for fourth defender. Maybe you have a Trent or a Robertson together. Maybe you have Shaw, Estupinian, these kind of options. Maybe you even play Trippier in that fourth defender spot. I mean, if you're going safer, I think that's the way to go. But I think I'll personally still take my chances there. Should I buy Steele and sell Kepa? I think if it's a if this is a Brighton spot open for you, I think you can do that. Steel will help you also save some money, and I think you can invest that money in the upcoming game weeks as well. So I think, yeah, in isolation, I don't know the other parts of your team, the other kegs of your team, but I think if in isolation this is the question, I think I'll sell Kepa and I'll get in Steel. Yes. For a -4, would you transfer in Jota for Watkins? I mean, it's risky. So it's a tricky call for -4. I mean, Watkins is replaceable for sure. Watkins is not a must have or a definite hold or anything like that. But I mean, with Jota, you run the risk, and I don't know what the plan with Jota as well is. My personal plan is to basically sell him in Gaming 36, most likely for Isak, because I don't have the money to do Greenwood to an Isak, for example, and I might not end up playing with three forwards anyways. So yeah, it depends on your plan. Depends if you think that on a hit Jota is worth it this week and next week, and if the plan is to move to Isak, then again, is he worth the additional transfer again as well? I still think that he is. I still think that considering the fact that you have this information, considering that you have a double game week this week, and considering the fact that you have a double in gaming 36 for Newcastle, I think I'll still take my chances. I'll still go a bit aggressive. It's aggressive at the end of the day. It's aggressive move, and it can backfire as well. But I still think there is a lot to gain there. There's a lot to lose, but I try to look at the positive side of it, and I think I've already done that move, and I think it's absolutely fine. Free hit active, which three City players, which three Liverpool players? On a free hit active free hit, I think I will go with uh, Haaland, of course. Then there's KDB, and then I'll still take my chance. Either I'll go Grealish if I can't, if it's too much of Man City in midfield, then I'll basically go Stones, and I'll go Stones, KDB, and Haaland as your three City players. In terms of Liverpool options, if I can get in Jota, I'll still go for Trent, Salah, Trent, and Jota in that order. If you can't make that work, then I'll probably go Salah, Trent, and Robertson as the combination. I think those would be the three players. I won't be looking at goalkeepers from either teams. I would be looking at any other attackers from either teams. I think Gakpo, etc., are all. I mean, they can still do well, but I still feel Jota is the high explosive option. I think Salah is a must have in that team. So I think that's what I'll do, especially on a free hit with these three City and Liverpool players. Meet, which part of India are you from? So right now I'm in Bangalore. I'm not originally from Bangalore, but I've been staying here. I've been in Bangalore for about 7 6 7 years. So yeah, that's where I am right now. Hey Jeff, hello to you. Welcome to the stream. Would you do Ryan Matters to Edison and Grealish for a -4? I mean, if Edison is still debatable, because I've been kind of debating this throughout the stream, before the stream, in my head as well. Madison to Grealish, if the money is okay, I mean, I think it should be. I'll definitely do that. Raya to Edison depends on whether you're okay with the safe spot with Edison. As I mentioned earlier as well in the stream, Edison is not a very high ceiling option. He's either 6 points or 2 points. Lately, it's looking like 2 points for most games. Could happen that City concede a very odd goal, a stupid goal, and then Edison just loses his clean sheet. And the fact that you might want to, let's say, I'm assuming you already have Haaland. So when you have Haaland and Grealish, do you want to use this third spot to basically punt on an Alvarez, punt on a Mahrez, punt on maybe something like a Foden, for example? Maybe even go for a defender for maybe not this week by 37. I think that could also be an option. If we have some knowledge about who's the nailed option or who's the nailed player in defense or in midfield from Man City, I mean, we can punt on those options, right? So if you kind of have that strategy in mind, then having Edison this week is great because he has a double game week, so you're all happy and you're all joyous about it. But then he locks you from making that move, right? So if that's not the move that you're considering, then go for Edison. I think it's fine. Not a high upside option, but he's safe. He's gonna give you starts. He's nailed for 90 minutes. I don't think so. Pep is gonna take him out. So yeah, depends on the risk that you want to take. Depends on the strategy that you have for the 37 double as well for Man City. Sell McAllister for March. I won't do the sideways move. I think keeping McAllister is absolutely fine. In case if you have nothing else to do, in case if you're bored, and if in case your team is in perfect shape, then maybe do it for free. But I still think you stick with whatever you have in terms of your Brighton mids, whether you have two, whether you have three, whichever combination you have, you just stick with them and you focus your transfers elsewhere. Kane, Fernandes, Henry to Greenwood, Salah, Trent for a -8, or go Fernandes and Isak, Fernandes and Kane to Isak and Salah for a -4. I mean, taking out Bruno Fernandes looks a bit iffy because of the fact that he can do really well. I think he's nailed for minutes. I think he's fine. That injury scare is not there. I don't think so. He's going to lose his minutes at all. United does need to win games to confirm that top four spot, and I think they'll absolutely go for it. And Fernandes is a huge part of how they're attacking the season and in the last few games as well. It just feels, I mean, if you've made your bed with selling Fernandes, that's a different case because of the options that you've mentioned. I think you have, and if you have, I think, I mean, Fernandes and Kane to Isak and Salah doesn't give you a double fixture this week, but I think does set you up for Game Week 36 as well. See what your plan is for Game Week 35 and 36. Understand those transfers. In case if you feel that you can do that additional move, maybe in 36, maybe in 35, or whichever week, then I'll probably stick to the -8. I think it's fine. You basically are using up that money, getting in Salah and Trent. Both are really good options this week, and I think they have the potential to do a lot of damage, considering the fact that a lot of FPL managers are going for these two options, irrespective of whatever they do in the double Game Week 34. I think there could be a lot of loss that you can get by not having a Trent, by not having a Salah. So I think Salah Trent for a -8 is fine. You can maybe do the Isak move in Game Week 36 for their double. By the time we'll also kind of know if Isak is actually starting every game. Maybe Wilson has surprisingly made a lot of ground on his fitness, and now he's the first choice. I still have my doubts over there, but I think with a little bit of more information, we can maybe take a better decision on Isak in Game Week 36. So I'll take the -8. Which player should I move Watkins to in Game Week 35? I have 0.5 million in the bank. I still take my chances with an Isak. Game Week 35, Newcastle is against Arsenal, so it's not the ideal fixture. Maybe I just make that transfer, or put him on the bench, or I just don't do that option. I think Watkins in Game Week 35, as soon as against Wolves, I can also keep Watkins. I don't think so. Watkins is a sell that week. The only option I'll probably look at, I mean, look at in terms of when I'm selling Watkins is maybe either to downgrade to a option which is like a Greenwood. Basically, you get money and maybe you make other upgrades. I don't think so. It's worth it in Gaming 35. Or I'll just look at getting an Isak in Gaming 36. I won't do a move in 35 because I right now I think if I'm going for three forwards, if I'm playing with three forwards, I think my forwards would be Haaland, uh, taking a risk on Jota and then having Isak. I think that's the set try or the better try to go for. Of course, you have the likes of Martial having a double 34 37. You maybe go for one of the Brighton options as a huge differential. Go for Alvarez and Haaland together. There are all sorts of combinations you can make, but I think if you're sane FPL manager, I think it's gonna be Haaland, Isak, and Jota as your three forwards. We take up the next question. Brought Isak for 6 million and he's gone up to 6.8. Should I sell him considering that he might get limited minutes in the upcoming games? If your plan is to not play him at all in 36, sell him. If you do plan to use him in 36, don't sell him. That's the simple answer. Should I go for pre-hit this week, or is it better to save? I have 9 double game week players this week. It also depends on which are these 9 double game week options. I still feel there is a high upside in basically chasing this week by going with, as the combination that I mentioned already, right? Going with the Trent plus Robertson plus Salah combination, going with the KDB plus Salah combination. I think there is a lot to gain in those spots. And I think you can absolutely play it this week. And I mean, 37 is looking like an okay week to play it, but I think the point ceiling for this week is definitely higher. What do you think about Haaland triple captain? I think it's the best triple captaincy option, best captaincy option, great potential, great fixtures, is in great form, scoring a lot of goals. I don't think so. I don't think it's the Haaland triple captaincy we need to think about in terms of anything. The only problem that we might have when we are basically placing the triple captaincy chip on him is the minutes that he gets, right? Minutes risk is in 34. Of course, there's a risk. I mean, we can't 100% say that he's going to start both games, play 90. I don't think so. This is going to happen anyway. Maybe in a parallel universe it happens, but it's not going to happen in this one. I still think the risk is also there in Game Week 37. Yes, it's. I mean, we can probably, by that point, we may have more information in terms of what's happening. Maybe Haaland gets a rest in the league, etc. All that could happen. But with the information that we have right now for 34, he's a great option in 34. Right now, we do not know what's going to happen in 37. So you can just speculate and predict, which may or may not be wrong, or which may or may not be advantages at that point in time. So go for it this week. I think it's a good option. Kane to Isak or Jota for the rest of the season. I mean, Jota is a decent hold as well. I don't think so. I mean, I still feel his first choice in that in that striker role. The fixtures for Liverpool are actually pretty good. It's Spurs and Fulham this week. Then it's Brentford, Leicester in 35-36, and then 37-38 it's Aston Villa, Southampton. All teams that can, maybe Brentford is going to be a slightly trickier game, but it's a home fixture for Liverpool. Home is a strong aspect of Liverpool's attack and how they generally play. So I don't mind holding him. Maybe we get that information that maybe Isak is not getting regular minutes. Maybe he gets injured. Maybe he doesn't become an option for 36. So I think there are a few unknowns till 36 in that spot as well. And I think even if you want to hold Jota, not get an Isak, I think it's absolutely fine. You can definitely hold Jota till the end of the season. I think he's a good option. I think he's gonna get majority minutes. Yes, he may get a couple of rests here and there, but I think there is potential in Jota for sure. So I'll basically do Kane to Jota. And then I think if I want to do the Isak move in 36, otherwise I'm fine holding Jota as well. Chilwell and Saka to Trent, Rashi for free transfers, or Chilwell, Saka, Martinelli to Stones, Rashford, Bruno for a hit, or Chilwell, Saka, Watkins to Stones, Rashford, and Jota. Chilwell, Saka to Trent, Rashi is fine. You don't have to take a hit for it. That's also okay. Chilwell, Saka, Martinelli to Stones is a bit risky, plus Bruno as well. I still don't like this particular option because I like Bruno, but not as much as maybe a Salah or a KDB. Those options. Chilwell, Saka, Watkins to Stones. I still think if I'm taking a chance, I'll go Chilwell, Saka, Watkins to Stones, Rashford, and Jota. Stones is a higher upside pick, slightly aggressive. Jota again a slightly more aggressive pick. If it's too much of a risk for you, then you go for the first option, which is Trent plus Rashford in place of Chilwell and Saka. Otherwise, I think I like the last option, which is basically to get in Stones, Rashford, and Jota. Start Trippier, Isak. Also, why Isak didn't get assists versus Everton. I think there was a touch from the Everton defender, because of which it was not deemed as an assist. It should have been. If Kane got an assist in that game by hitting a shot, I think it hit the defender and then the Tottenham player scored from that. If Kane did get an assist for that, I think Isak should have gotten an assist for that as well, which is pretty stupid. But that's the reason I think Isak didn't get the assist, because it had a touch from the Everton defender. Start Trippier, Isak. Isak for me for sure. Higher ceiling, higher upside. I mean, Newcastle haven't really kept a lot of clean sheets in recent games, and I mean, I know it's Southampton, and everybody's thinking Southampton's anyways relegated. I mean, they probably don't care by that point. A lot of things are going on behind the scenes as well, and maybe they don't even score in this game. Absolutely can happen, but I just feel if I'm going aggressive, I'll go Isak. If I'm going there to protect rank, and if I want that, or if I have this fear that Trippier is probably going to lose out or make me lose a lot of rank, then I'll stay with Trippier. Otherwise, it's definitely Isak for me. Best of luck to you as well for Gaming 34 and to everybody. Would you take a -8 Watkins to Jota, Edison to David De Gea? I won't do it. I think Edison, I personally, I mean, I can do Watkins to a different player. I think you're doing Edison to David De Gea for the money. I'm not sure. But if I can just do Watkins to Jota directly, I'll do that. Won't take a -8 for Edison to David De Gea. My first 11 is Kepa, Trippier, Shaw, Trent, Salah, Martinelli, Rashi, Mitoma, March, Isak, Haaland, captain, bench is Foster, Ben White, Botman, Greenwood. Any alternative recommendations? I'm assuming got a transfer to kill. I mean, I'm not sure how much money you have, but I mean, Kepa could be replaced for sure. Martinelli could be replaced for sure. I mean, Martinelli to Grealish is an option. You have double Brighton mids, so that's okay. Kepa to a different keeper, maybe an Edison is an option. I think those are the only options that I'd probably look at in terms of removing. I think Trippier is a hold. Short Trent, Salah, Rashford, Mitoma, March, Haaland, Isak is absolutely fine. I think those would be the options that I'd probably look at. Replacing Kepa and maybe replacing Martinelli. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise the team is fine. Should I go for the wildcard this week or save it? I have 9 double game week players. I think you go for the wildcard this week. I don't understand a situation where you probably would want to use it in 35 or keep it as late as 37. You use the wildcard, maybe go a bit aggressive by going, for somebody like a KDB, by somebody like a Trent plus Robertson, by maybe going Edison, by maybe taking a punt on maybe Grealish KDB and Haaland, all three together, I still think the best time to use the wildcard chip is right now. You can alter your squad, you can go aggressive. You don't have to take any hits, right? You just press that button and you get the team that you have. Of course, it's dependent on your team value as well. But I think definitely play the wildcard this week. Grealish to Rashford for free. I mean, I still would want Rashford. And I think Rashford is more of a priority. So I think it looks a bit odd because you're replacing a double game week option from Man City, who can absolutely do well. But I think Rashford is the standard option in that United team who are going to do well in this particular week. Rashford's ownership is going to be very high. Maybe a fair few, FPL managers also captain him this week. But I think Grealish, you can argue the other side of the coin is basically Grealish gets limited minutes. Grealish is maybe not a not a player who could explode. Maybe he gets you those 8 to 10 safe points, but I think Rashford is somebody who can absolutely smash 20 points this week. And I think if you don't have Rashford, you get him in. If Grealish is the way, you go for it. Best keeper to bring in for the rest of the season. I think Edison is probably the safest option to go for in terms of minutes. I think he has a double in 34. I mean, he does have a double in 34. He does have a double in 37 as well. So the safest, most boring, most logical, or the player who your brain would say go for it. I think Edison is the one to go for. I don't think so. There's any upside in keepers in any way as well. I don't think so. There are any standout keepers, to be very very honest. I mean, I you would expect a lot lesser teams to keep clean sheets, considering the fact that a lot of teams are playing for Europe, maybe for the title, maybe for relegation as well, maybe to get out of relegation as well. So I think there'll be lesser clean sheets. So I don't think so. It's a huge difference in terms of choosing a keeper A or keeper B. But I think Edison is the sound move. If you have something like a Raya, Kepa, they have trickier fixtures. Uh, you know, so they're maybe not the most ideal options. Maybe a Palace keeper, if we see that Guaita is back and he's getting starts. I think Palace has decent fixtures from now till the end of the season. I think that could be an option, but yeah, they don't have any doubles. Steel could be an option. Brighton are not keeping a lot of clean sheets, and the double in 36 is Arsenal. Newcastle doesn't look at all like a double fixture, but yes, they do have 34 doubles, 36 doubles, and 37 doubles. So maybe Steel as well. I think it's probably going to be between Edison and Steel because of the fact that the volume of games is pretty high. Yes, the quality of games is not that great in terms of keeping clean sheets. I think those would be the options if you look at a keeper option. Start one, Isak, Solanke, Trippier. I'll start Isak. Is it a good time to triple captain Haaland? Of course. I mean, it's a great time to captain triple captain Haaland. Sorry. I think we know information. We have some sort of clarity, and we have some confidence that he's probably going to start or get majority minutes this week. By 37, we don't know what's going to happen. That's probably the only other route that I'll probably look at in terms of triple captaincy. Brighton and Newcastle are also doubling in 36, but I still feel Haaland has better potential. I mean, you can't really compare a March, Mitoma, or a Trippier or an Isak to a Haaland in terms of captaincy potential. So I'll definitely stick triple captaincy on Haaland this week. Bruno Grealish, I think the more explosive pick is Bruno. I think the aggressive pick is Bruno. The more differential pick is Bruno. So in case if you are looking to chase rank, in case if you're looking to go aggressive, chase the upside, go against the crowd, basically try to gain rank in your mini leagues, etc. I think Bruno is the one to go for. Safer option is Grealish. Botman or Dallo, I think that I'll take my. Despite of United having a trickier, two sets of fixtures, I still think I'll take my chances with the Dallo because of the fact that he has a double game week, and I mean it just won't feel right, benching a double game week player for a Botman, right? Because it's not that Botman has great attacking threat. He's scoring a lot of goals from set pieces. He's getting a lot of bonus points. Doesn't happen that way. And there's limited point ceiling with the Botman. Plus the fact that Newcastle have, not really kept a lot of clean sheets. I think I still go Dallo. Watkins to Jota, Isak to Solanke. I mean, you can do Watkins to Jota and then Isak to Solanke. If it's to get in money, it's a different thing. But I personally won't do Isak to Solanke. It's not a transfer to make unless money is an issue. Watkins Jota is absolutely fine. It's risky, but I think their points should be gained there. Botman or Henry, who to start? I think I'll start Botman. Better fixture. Should I bring in Jota or Robertson on a free hit? I think I'll. My personal choice is still Jota. basically go Trent, Jota plus Salah on a free hit. But if you are looking to go a bit differential, if you don't want to take that chance with Jota and his limited minutes, I don't think so. I mean, you would expect Robertson to start both games. There's still a chance that Simicas gets maybe the nod in one of the games. It absolutely can happen. The more attacking is definitely Jota. But in case if you feel that his minutes are probably bothering you, you go Robertson on a free hit. You think Jota will start? I have my doubts on the first game. I think he starts the second. Botman or Dallo, do you think Dallo starts both games? I think he does start both games. I think Shaw is going to play in that centre back role, and then it's basically Dallo and Van Bissaka on either sides. Soul Trippier for Stones, whatsoever happens, I mean, it's fine. As I said, right, it's almost the end of season. We have to kind of pick and choose our battles, pick and choose our fights. If you feel that you can go or let go of Trippier and you want to chase the upside, go a little bit aggressive. I think there, as I said, right, there's no one way of playing FPL. It's not that I think any player right now apart from Haaland is not a must-have. You can sell any player in your 11 in your squad, and I think you can make a case for your alternative picks or your aggressive picks. It's absolutely fine. Grealish, Stones, or both for a -4. Risk, if you're going very aggressive, you go both for a -4. Otherwise, you just go Grealish and slightly safer. You protect your rank there. I'd taken Stones in my wildcard and removed him, and then he scored. That's sad. That's really, really sad. I mean, yeah, he has been playing in a slightly more advanced central role. Though it's not that he's going to score a goal in every game, but yeah, it does give him slightly more potential, slightly more impetus to take more shots and complete more passes, get in those bonus points, get in better, or at least have a better potential for overall points. Start Botman, Trippier, or Zuma. I think I'll start Trippier out of all these three options. You don't have Watkins. I don't have Watkins. I sold him for Jota. So Watkins was out. Jota was in for a -4. Edison, Stones, Shaw, Estupinian, Salah, March, Mitoma, Rashford, Tony Isak, Haaland captain, triple captain. Great. I think decent squad. Edison, Stones, like the shout. No Grealish, but I think that's absolutely fine. You have Haaland. Tony is a very interesting option. I don't think so. A lot of people would have Tony. I mean, a lot of people are selling Tony, so I think that could be a nice shout. Start Tony or Isak. I think I'll start. Isak is against Southampton, not Bournemouth, right? Unless I've got it completely wrong. Yeah, it's Southampton this week. Um, I think I'll still start Isak. I'll still take my chance there because the fact that the games are very close to each other. I don't think so. Wilson is gonna get a start in this one. I think Isak starts this one. Great fixture for an attacking return. Maybe a huge haul as well. I'll take my chances with an Isak. Why not take KDB? I already took Salah last week, and this was before his performance. Of course, I mean you can definitely gain a little bit or gauge a little bit with the last week performance. He's been doing really well over the past 4 or 5 game weeks. So I think I probably would have taken that decision as well, but I think Salah is still for me. I think is still the better option. Liverpool have a lot of home games now, and I think Liverpool traditionally are doing well at home. I think Leicester away. I mean, even the away fixture that they have, right? It's Leicester away and Southampton away, who are both conceding a lot of goals. By that point, Southampton might be relegated. We don't know what's going to happen. Then Leicester again by 36 again. We don't know what's going to happen there as well. I still feel there is a lot of potential for Salah to get in a lot of goals. The Liverpool attackers to basically do well, and I think because the fact that KDB and Man City are also in the Champions League, there could be rotation. Man City have a lot of games to play in the upcoming time, and I think with Salah, I'm not really getting that rotation, right? Plus the fact that Salah is expected to be on penalties, it's a big if again, and KDB doesn't have penalties, so I think the potential for Salah is absolutely fine. Bruno's going to haul. Looks like that. I mean, the haul is coming, right? I mean, you can see over the last few weeks, he's been very unlucky not to score more points. And I just feel this is probably a week where he's going to go very, very massive. And I think the owners that have Bruno, I think they're probably going to gain a lot of points this week. Start Tony or Isak. I'll start Isak. And it's not Bournemouth, it's Southampton. What about Eze or Mitoma? I still take my chances with the Mitoma. I mean, whenever Brighton have looked good in attack, I mean, last couple of games, yes, they've struggled. Also because of the volume of the games that they've played. They also played 120 minutes in the FA Cup, and that kind of caught them up in the last game against Forest, where they couldn't outrun their opponents. But I think I mean, Eze is an option, but maybe for the free hitters in one of those weeks where we're trying to take a punt, etc. I think he was a potential option, but it's West Ham this week. I'm not very confident. West Ham have looked a lot better. I know it's a away game for West Ham, home game for Palace, but I still think Mitoma is the one to go for. Hey Roberto, hello to you. Your team is Raya, Short Trent, Estupinian, Trippier, Rashford, Grealish, Salah, Mitoma, McAllister, Haaland bench. Haaland, your bench is Kepa, Isak, Watkins, Spotman. With one free transfer, zero in the bank. Start who for Newcastle plus moves. Um, I'll definitely start Trippier. So it's Raya, Shaw. I mean Shaw, Trent, Estupinian is absolutely fine. Rashford, Grealish, Salah, Mitoma. It's basically a midfield five, and then it's basically playing a 4-5-1, right? I mean, Watkins can be replaced. That's one option. I'll still keep Isak in the team. I mean, I think Raya and Watkins are the options that you can probably replace. I'm not sure about the. I mean, Raya, when you don't have any balance in the bank, money in the bank, I don't think so. Of course, Edison is not an option. Watkins, I mean, you can take a hit by basically taking out Watkins, going for a cheaper option, and maybe upgrading a different option in there. But I personally don't see anything that is hugely missing from this team. I mean, yes, it doesn't have a Jota, but it does cover Salah and Trent, safer combination. It does cover Rashford again, safer combination. Uh, the double up in March, Mitoma plus McAllister is absolutely fine. I mean, if I personally don't see any transfers to make, Watkins can maybe leverage next week. You can also save a transfer, maybe leverage Watkins next week and make other moves elsewhere. I think that's also an option. And starting Trippier for Newcastle, I mean, you can. I still would start Isak instead of Trippier. I think I'll basically play a 3-5-2 where I'm starting Shaw, Trent, and Estupinian, playing a midfield five, and then I'm starting Haaland plus Isak. Yeah. Should I play Trippier in five at the back, or should I play Watkins, Solanke with Haaland? I'll still play Trippier, higher potential as compared to Watkins and Solanke. I know they're attackers, but I think there's high potential for Trippier. Should I play Trippier in a back four? The same question basically. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll still play Trippier. I want I want Trent, but can't afford him. Only way to him is have Grealish without Salah. I mean, I would not negotiate Salah for a Trent. I think I'll still prefer Salah over Trent, or I can have Salah and Robertson without. I mean, that's fine. You can. I mean, the option still is. I mean, the better option is still Trent. Considering the fact that Liverpool aren't keeping clean sheets, I mean, we're not gonna get clean sheet points from either Robertson or Trent. So that kind of cancels out. In terms of absolute attacking threat, I think Trent, especially because of the fact that he's played in that slightly attacking role, Robertson's numbers are also okay. They're not that worse. So it's a downgrade. It's a slight downgrade, but it's not a huge difference. I think if you want a piece of that Liverpool defense and if you can't afford Trent, I think I'll still take my chance and have a Salah plus Robertson. Yeah, I mean, Salah plus Trent is absolutely better, but I won't. I would not have Salah and then have Trent if you get what I'm saying. Henry to Trent, Tarkowski to Stones, Saka to Grealish, Tony to Greenwood. Good moves for a -8. Getting Trent, getting Stones, Grealish, plus a Dutch striker, I think it's absolutely fine. You make that move aggressive, taking a -8, but I think it's fine. You can take a -8 and you can recover this week. Isak, Trippier, Lindelof. I mean, I'll still. I know it's Lindelof. It's a double game week player, so I think the logic would say that you play Lindelof for the double. But again, Liverpool. Sorry. Lindelof is not a player who really has a lot of attacking threat or a huge attacking upside. The ceiling to him is also less. Trickier games for United. I mean, logic still says Lindelof because of the double game week fixture, but I think I'll still take my chance with an Isak here. Are you a Liverpool fan? I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm a Man United fan. Have been over the past 2 decades. Not that old, but yeah, I've been following United for the past almost 2 decades. Watkins to Jota, Isak to Solanke for money. I don't know what that means, but Watkins to Jota is fine. Isak to Solanke. I mean, if you are basically going in this for money, I think which was a question posted earlier as well. I think it's fine. You do the move. It's an additional transfer because you may want to get back Isak, but maybe you can do Jota to Isak then in game week 36. But I mean, when game week 36 comes, you then see it at that point whether Isak is an option, whether he's getting minutes, and I think you make the move this week. Would you start Kane or Isak? I'll start Isak. Also, what about the yellow flag on Jota? He does have a knock on. He did get a knock on his back. But that might keep him. It's not an injury. It's not a serious injury or anything of that sort. He may get a rest this week in terms of the first fixture. So he may come from the bench, play about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the first fixture. That's the risk and that's the flag. But I think I'm very confident or fairly confident that he's probably going to start the second game. So maybe gets about 130, 120, 130 minutes over the two games. Shaw and Robertson or Edison and Shaw. I think Shaw and Robertson more attacking option. Robertson is definitely better than Edison in terms of the attacking ceiling or the overall point ceiling. I know Edison is a safer six. Robertson, if not any attacking returns, loses a clean sheet, gets a yellow card, 1 point, or maybe two at best in that scenario. But I still take my chance with Sean Robertson. There are more points to be gained here than an Edison pick. Best forwards till the end of the season. As I said, I think it's going to be Haaland, Jota, Isak. You can do Haaland, Jota right now, Isak in 36, and then have a Dutch striker. Dead in the spot, you would want to have five midfielders and you would want to play five midfielders. Now that kind of limits you to play with two strikers because of the fact that you have double ups on, a Brighton midfield, you have Rashford, you have Man City options. All of these players picks have doubles in 37 as well. You may maybe you get rid of Salah, maybe you get in an additional Man City option, maybe you get Bruno, for example, at that point. I think all of those are potential moves as well, and I would want to utilize more from the midfield because there are more points to be gained there. Additional points for goals scored, additional points for clean sheets, which forwards are not getting. So I think you can dead end one spot. If you don't want to, then you can play Haaland, Jota, and Isak. Chilwell to Trent, and Henry to Stones or a United defender for -4. I think I'll take my chances with the Stones. Yeah, I think it's a risky move. United defender. I mean, you go for Shaw. You're gaining in terms of starts. Maybe you're gaining slightly in terms of minutes as well. Uh, but I think yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, you go for Trent, who's a good option, and if you want to go aggressive, you go Stones. If you want to go safer, you go Shaw. I think that's the easiest way to explain it. For a -4 is absolutely fine. Bench boost now depends on your bench. I mean, depends on your bench. Sorry, if your bench is Trippier, Botman, maybe Isak, for example, that's absolutely great. I think they're all single game week options, but a great set of players. Maybe you have Arsenal players on your bench. Maybe you have a Martinelli. Maybe you have a Saka, Gabriel Jesus. I don't know who, but these options are also fine on a bench. They're facing Chelsea this week. There's good potential in them. Uh, Kepa against Arsenal may not be that great. Who else? I think depends on your bench players at the end of the day, right? If you have double game week options from this week, absolutely play them. And if you have additional options, I've not really seen a lot of teams who have 12 or 13 or 14 double game week players and don't have a bench boost available. So I think yeah. Glory, glory, Man United. Let's just hope that we do really, really well. Super, super excited to was disappointed after the Tottenham game. I think that second half was absolutely rubbish. But I think we need to kind of step it up and push a little bit more for that top four because I mean things are a bit tricky right now. It's not that you can just easily say that United will definitely finish in the top four. Do you think Jota will start? To be honest, I do think that he starts the second game. I've not really seen anything. I guess I think that he probably wasn't pictured in training. We'll also quickly check if we have any other information, but I think I have a feeling that he starts the second game. I know that I've taken a hit for it. If he doesn't start, I mean, I have Trippier on the bench, comes on from the bench anyways, but I mean, it's a risk we're taking. I think I'll take my chances there. Is keeping Shaw and Dallo both good? I mean, it's risky because the fact that United can concede in both games. I still would probably look at a Man City option, look at a Trent, look at an Estupinian, maybe look at one of the Newcastle options as slightly better picks. I think doubling on the United defense kind of limits me to one attacker as well. I don't know right now, but maybe by gaming 37, I want both Rashford and Bruno in my team. I probably if Martial is an option at that point, maybe Rashford, Martial, and Shaw could be the way to look at it as well. If this is on a free hit, I mean, I'd still double up on the Liverpool defense. I'll go Edison plus Stones. I still think I won't look at two United defenders, in general. By Shaw or Stones, safer is Shaw, riskier is Stones. I like Stones for his additional potential. Shaw may play in a centre back role, may limit his overall attacking output, but I think depends on your risk appetite and how much aggressive you want to go. White Kane, Grealish to Trent, Salah, Greenwood for a -8. I think it's absolutely fine. Grealish is a double game week player you're taking out, but I'm assuming you'll have an additional spot open for a Man City option. You can maybe take a punt later on for a -8 is okay. Disgusting, no Toon players in. I mean, they're in the squad. They're not in the 11. If Jota doesn't start, I mean, Trippier comes in automatically. So that's that. I still feel with double game weeks, I think there is potential to basically go a little bit aggressive. If Newcastle was having a double game week, of course Trippier was in, of course Botman was in, of course Isak would have been a transfer in. But I still feel, I mean, there's a slight, uh, there could be a chance that Trippier, maybe not Botman, but maybe a Trippier or Isak do outscore a Jota or maybe, the United defenders, Estupinian, for example. There's absolutely a possibility of that happening, but I mean, you chase what is in front of you, right? I mean, there are limited opportunities to, try to gain rank right now. I think this week, going against the Newcastle team, you're taking a lot of risk, but you make your bet with it and you then see what happens. But I mean, there is a chance that you can absolutely gain from, maybe Newcastle losing a clean sheet and then not really getting anything, and their defenders not getting any returns. Isak, yes, his ownership is not going to be as high, so maybe the loss is not as much. But I think there's a case to be made going against the Newcastle team this week and try to gain rank in other spots. What will be the best game week to use the wild card this week? I think is the best week to use the wild card. If you do not have free hit, bench boost, etc., whatever. I mean, I still feel you can use the wildcard this week, getting good 11 doublers, have your Newcastle options, basically have Trippier, Botman. I think the most ideal scenario would be to have a squad similar to what you can see on the screen. Uh, if you do have a bench boost, maybe you go for a different keeper. If you don't have a bench boost, just dead end that spot. Have Iverson in goal, then have Edison as a safe option. Then you can have Trippier, Botman, and Isak. If you have the money, you can have your Newcastle set up very nicely for their double in 36, and then you have the triple Brighton also for 36. So I think you use it right now, gain advantage this week, set up your team for 36, 37 as well, and I think try to take advantage. That's uh, wildcard for sure this week. How many hits you took? I took a -4 this week. I took a -8 last week. It did come to bite me at the end where I took out Kane. I think I took out Chilwell. So I think it was Kane, Chilwell out, and Kane for a dud option, which was a huge loss. I mean, Trent to Chilwell was okay for a hit. I mean, yeah, not a lot gained there, but I think it's absolutely fine. And then I sold Saka to Salah. So I took a -8 last week. Didn't come off. Let's hope that it comes off this week, and let's see what happens there. Kane to Greenwood plus Henry to Trent for free. I think I'll do it. Or take a -4. Also take Grealish to Salah. I think I'll do that as well. If you don't have Salah, I'll try to take or get in Salah. So basically, you get in Kane plus Trent plus Salah for a -4. I think it's absolutely fine. Who do you replace with Bruno? Who will you sell for Bruno? I mean, if it's my team, I won't get in Bruno. I don't know. I mean, if you have a Saka, for example, if you have a Madison, for example, I mean, you sell those options. If you have a Martinelli, if you can get in some money, maybe you downgrade Kane to a Greenwood and then you upgrade a Martinelli or a Saka or somebody else to a Bruno. I think that's probably one of those options to get in a Bruno. Are you on a free hit? I'm not on a free hit. This is my regular team with a -12 across 2 game weeks and I think 10 doublers. Yes, Raya is the only single game week player this week. David De Gea, Dunk, Robertson, Shaw, Pereira, Salah, March, KDB, Rashford, Haaland. I'm assuming it's Jota. It's a free hit team. Should I downgrade Robertson and bring in Mitoma for Andreas? So there's basically only one Brighton mid. I mean, I'd still want a Liverpool defender more than I probably would want a second Brighton attacker. I understand that it's an attacker you're talking about. Liverpool's clean sheet potential is not very, very high. Um, I mean, it depends, right? Where do you go with Robertson? Because you already have a United option. You have United double up. I still feel I won't go David De Gea and Shaw. I think there is a little bit of readjustment that I probably would do. If I'm looking at a Brighton, if I'm looking to save money, I'll go Steal in my goal. I'll take out Dunk. I'll go cheaper there as well. And I mean, yeah, and I definitely won't have the double up on United. But yeah, for this question, I think, I mean, the fact that I would want a Liverpool defender in my team and I have Robertson, I think it's fine. Mitoma is a loss for sure, but I think you have to take a couple of decisions here. Maybe you can get in some money. Maybe you get in Steel in there, and then gain some money and then use that money to directly do Pereira to Mitoma. I think that's an option as well if you can do that. Which player are you going to get rid from your squad to bring in Bruno in the future? Um, I mean, Salah to Bruno could be an option in 37. Bruno does have a double. Salah doesn't have a double. Depends on what's happening with Liverpool at that point of time. Depends on how United is playing, how Bruno is playing, in what position is he playing. Are United through to the top four? If Liverpool is still fighting for the European spots, I think all of those things will dictate. 36. I mean, 37 is Aston Villa, so this is a risk for sure because Liverpool can absolutely smash Aston Villa. It could be a close game as well. I still feel there's a lot of potential in Salah to get a haul that week, but I think that is probably a week I'll pencil it, and a player that I'll pencil it. I don't have a lot of cash as well with me. It depends on the city options as well. Maybe I get in, maybe I downgrade Trent, use that transfer for a different option, and then maybe upgrade a Grealish or something like that. I can also do because I think March and Mitoma, I don't think so I'll be able to use that much money. Right, I have 1.3 million in the bank. I can get in some additional money by selling Trent and then use that additional money to upgrade Grealish as well. I think that is also an option. The Grealish is 7ish, 7.1, and then I think Fernandez is 9.4. So it's basically 2.3. I have 1.3 in the bank. I'll need 1 million, which I can easily get through Trent. I think that's an option as well. So it's either going to be, it's basically going to be one of the Liverpool options. I think all the other options are not cash cows. Maybe Jota as well. When I downgrade a Jota to Isak, right, I will also be left with some money. So maybe I can just directly use that money to upgrade a Grealish to a. I know Grealish is also doubling, but by the time we might have some other information regarding Man City assets. But I think it's probably going to be one of the Liverpool options. Double Newcastle defense, so bench one of them and start Martinelli. I'll bench one of them and I'll take a chance with Martinelli. Double Newcastle defense. I'm assuming it's probably going to be Botman plus Trippier. I think there's more potential in Martinelli. Do you think Johnston will start? Guaita is back, which is a slight worry. I mean, I have my doubts there. I still think Johnston is okay for a week, maybe, but it's a risk. I still think Guaita is first choice, and I think he will come back in the team. I'm not sure what should I do. I have one free transfer and I have everyone on your team there except I have Chilwell, Watkins, Chilwell. Except I have Chilwell, Watkins, Tony, Fernandez, me instead of Estupinian, Trent, Salah, Jota, Greenwood. I mean, I'll take out Chilwell. I'll try to get in Trent. I'll take out Watkins. Either I'll dead end the team, or not the team. Sorry, I'll dead end the spot. And basically raise enough money to make a different upgrade. But I think out of all these options that I've mentioned, you would definitely want Trent in your team. I mean, Watkins, Tony look like a waste in terms of two players that you may not want for a long time. Maybe you take them both out. You go in for a Jota, you go in for a dead ending third spot or whatever, and then you keep in Fernandez and me. I think that's something that you can do. Foden or Grealish? Right now, I think it's Grealish. Foden will get minutes, but I'm not sure whether he gets majority minutes this week. Maybe by 37, the decision changes. By 37, we'll get more information on the game state, the league state, the state of Man City players, and the rotation there as well. But right now, I think with the information that we know, I think it's Grealish. My bench don't have double games. Is it still worth it? I mean, yeah, depends on. Let me know what your players are, right? If you have if you have Newcastle options, if you have Arsenal options, I think they're worth bench boosting this week. My bench is Johnston, Botman, Isak, or Solanke, one of them. That was it. I mean, it's a good week for bench boosting. See what transfers will you make for 37 and what will be your bench boost team for 37. If you feel it's a better bench boost than 37, you save the bench boost for now and then use it in 37. Best defender you recommend until the end of the season: Edison, Trippier, Estupinian, Shaw, or Botman. I can't have Trent. Mm, you already have Edison, Trippier, Estupinian, Shaw, Botman. I mean, I don't know if you can get in Robertson. If you can, then maybe him. If you can't, then maybe a second Man City option. It's a slight risk but maybe you chase the upside with the Stones, for example. On a -4 and a BB, is it worth another hit to take out Moreno, Watkins for Tony, Solanke, or another United defender? I mean, you can take out for a United defender, but are you putting in more money just to basically make your bench boost work? What is going to be your plan for the upcoming weeks in terms of that additional defender that you get in? I mean, Watkins, Bonner don't have to be taken out. I think they're absolutely fine. It's United, so it's a bit tricky, but I mean, it depends, right? If you wanna go a little bit aggressive attacking, I think you can take that hit. Uh, Solanke has a good fixture this week, so I think you can maybe go for Solanke. I still take my chance with Solanke because of the fact that he's facing Leeds. United defender is a bit tricky because you're putting in additional money in defense. Maybe I don't know how this player kind of works out for you in 37, but if this is giving you an additional player for 37 and a defender, of course, in 37, you go for it. But then again, if you want to go for a Bruno plus Rashford combination, I don't think so you'll be able to get that. So I'll still take my chance with Solanke, and I think it's fine. You take if you want. I mean, it's not necessary to take a hit, but if you want to, you can maybe go for Solanke. Jota fit, maybe not for the first game. Does look like that he starts the second, but yeah, you are running the risk of basically getting him in and maybe not getting minutes at all. That's also a possibility, right? Worst case scenario, he doesn't feature at all. Maybe gets 10 minutes the whole double game week, which will be a big L, big loss. But that's what you go for, right? When you've taken that decision to go a bit risky, I think that's something that you should be prepared to get in return. Matip, Kane, or Isak to start. I'll start Isak. Matip is having a double game week, but I still start Isak. I think there's more potential there. Watkins plus Mariner away or Solanke versus Leeds at home. I think Solanke versus Leeds at home is probably the better pick. Should I do Tony, Saka, Chilwell to Greenwood, Salah, Robertson for a -4? Take additional -4 to upgrade Chilwell to Trent. So it's basically Tony, Saka, and Chilwell to do Greenwood, Salah, and Trent. I'm assuming for a -8. I mean, Robertson is fine. Trent is slightly better for sure, but if you really want Trent, you go for the -8. But I think for -4, Robertson is also absolutely fine. Good morning to you, Zaid Petsin. Hope you're doing great. You're welcome, Sonny. I hope this was helpful. Start Jota or Isak. Definitely Jota. I mean, you when you made your bed with him as a pick, I think you go for him and you take a chance, you take a risk. Whatever happens, you take it on the chin and you move on. Start one Isak. Start one Saka, Watkins, Kane, Martin, or Trippier. I think I'll still start Trippier. Maybe Trip. I mean, it's tough actually between Saka, Martinelli. There are options actually. It's a tricky one. Mm, I think I'll definitely won't. I want to start Kane, but the fact that it's Liverpool, it's away. I think it's probably going to be one of the. It's probably going to be Martinelli or Trippier. I think it's probably going to be between one of those. And if you want to protect your rank, I think Trippier is the slightly higher owned. Still will be. So you go there. Otherwise, slightly aggressive as Martinelli. Who should I have on the bench for bench boost? I have Newcastle defenders and Martin on the bench. Definitely worth the bench boost. Absolutely go for it. If you have two out of Kane, Isak, Saka, and Trippier, I will start Isak and Trippier. Against Southampton, great fixture, good haul potential, and I think it's a good game for Newcastle. Grealish to Bruno worth a hit. I mean, it does leave you with that spot open for Man City. Maybe you can utilize that to get in a Foden later on. I don't know. Maybe a second defender for Man City, etc. It's a risk because it's not that Bruno. Yes, Bruno has shown potential, but at the end of the day, the points matters, right? I mean, those points haven't really come through, so it's not a must or a move to. It's not a necessary move to make. Again, if you're chasing, if you're going slightly aggressive, you do that, but I don't think so. It's a necessary move to make. It sounds like a luxury transfer more than anything else. On a free hit, thoughts on this team? Haaland, De Bruyne, Salah, Rashford, March, Mitoma, Shaw, Trent, Robertson, Trippier, Steele. Looks like a very strong team. I still think that on a free hit, if you're going for a free hit, you would still want to get in that 11th double game week player, um, and basically not have Trippier. That's my thought. But overall, this team looks pretty solid. Pick three out of Trent, Stones, Estupinian, and Shaw. Goalkeeper is Raya. Tough one. Um, I think I'll still start Trent plus Trent, Stones, and Shaw. I think Estupinian and Brighton can lose those clean sheets. Brighton have not really looked very comfortable in defense, and I think that's the worry there. All of them have good potential. I mean, you'll probably end up losing points anyways, but I think it's probably going to be Trent, Stones and Shaw with Raya as a goalkeeper. Haaland captain, Salah vice captain. That looks pretty solid. Start Isak or Callum Wilson. Start definitely Isak. Start Steele or Raya. These are my headaches. I think I'll still start Steele in spite of whatever I just said about Steele. I think I'll still start him. Jota missing in training. Should I go for Jota or Darwin on free transfer? I think Jota is is still the better long term pick. Maybe this week the minutes are a lot closer. Maybe Darwin outscores him in terms of minutes and points. If it's just a move for this week, I think it's maybe Darwin is maybe the slightly better option. But I think if it's the next week as well, maybe the week after that as well, I still feel Jota is the first choice in that position. Raya Kepa to David De Gea for a -4. I mean, I am okay keeping Raya. I don't think so. I'll get in David De Gea. Not very confident about United keeping two clean sheets. Maybe this transfer also locks me out of getting that Rashford plus Bruno combination, a Rashford plus Martial combination, a Martial plus Bruno combination. Basically, what I'm trying to say is getting a second Man United attacker. If this move blocks that, I personally won't do it. I also won't do it if that is not the case, because the fact that I think Raya can keep a clean sheet in this one and David De Gea doesn't really have a lot of potential. You're taking a hit anyways. Best case scenario, David De Gea gets 12 points. Raya keeps a clean. At 6, the deficit is 6 points. A hit basically makes a deficit to -2, which is not a huge deal. I think you can manage with that. Safe option for going Tarkovsky to Stones. I doubt on Stones. I have my doubts on Stones too. Better option for Stones. I already have Trent, Estupiñán, Trippier, and Botman. Not going Man United defense because I have David De Gea as goalkeeper. Um, it's a tough one because I mean, if you don't go for Stones, if you have the money, maybe go for Diaz, maybe go for Akanji, but all of them are risky options at the end of the day. If you have the money, maybe Diaz, but I mean, we've seen that Pep has also benched Diaz in in odd weeks and in random benching. So I'm a little bit more confident or comfortable with Diaz, but he can also get benched. But in case if you're taking the risk, you might as well go for the slightly higher upside pick, which is Stones. I mean, maybe if you have the money, maybe Trent plus. I don't know if you have the third Liverpool spot open, but if you do, maybe Trent plus Robertson if money is not a problem. That's an option as well. Other than that, I don't think so. Because the fact that you already have David De Gea, no point in doubling on the United defense. Not very confident there. Those what would be the picks, I think. Captain Haaland, De Bruyne. If you're going safer, you go Haaland. If you're going differential and chasing, you go De Bruyne. I think that's where you look at. Mitoma or McAllister on with free transfer. I'll definitely get in Mitoma ahead of McAllister. McAllister can play in a slightly deeper role that kind of limits his overall points potential. He is on penalties, but Mitoma is generally looked the better player in terms of the eye test. And Mitoma has been in good form. He's been scoring, he's been assisting. McAllister, we've seen that he gets a lot of big chances, but he doesn't finish them because he's not a clinical finisher. He's not a natural finisher, a natural goal scorer. So I think the potential is still higher with Mitoma than McAllister. Andres or Willock. Willock is a great differential this week. I think, I think if you are going very crazy in terms of your punts, I think Willock could do really, really well. I mean, Pereira, it's tricky because on one way, Pereira does help you, you know, get in some additional money, make some additional upgrades, etc. But overall, as overall potential, I mean, it's a bit tricky for Fulham players this week. I mean, they do have a double, but nobody's spoken about them at all because the double is against Man City, Liverpool. You can always argue that Man City maybe concedes a dodgy goal. Liverpool, can also concede because they don't keep a lot of clean sheets. I mean, you can make a case for Pereira, but I think out of the two, I'll still take my punt on a Willock this week. Better fixture, single fixture, but better fixture, and Newcastle are in great form in terms of attack. Start Martinelli or Isak. I'll start Isak. Better potential, higher ceiling, and I think better. I mean, again, no disrespect to Chelsea, but I think having said, I mean, all things considered, I think Isak is still the better fixture this week. Sad to see we are letting Liverpool go into. I mean, it's still very frustrated about after that Tottenham draw. We've dropped points. Looked like a comfortable game after the first half, but yeah, I mean, Liverpool are coming back. I think I still have a feeling that it's probably going to be Newcastle third, and it's probably going to be us, Liverpool, Tottenham, Brighton, all of those teams, Villa as well for that fourth spot. Brighton has trickier fixtures, so that's probably some respite. I think, I mean, we have the fixtures to finish in the top four. We can win. I mean, most of those fixtures are winnable games. So I think I'm still confident about our, potential. I mean, the likes of Casemiro, Rashford, Fernandes, Ericsson, if these guys are fit and if they play majority games, despite of having a dodgy defense, I still feel that I mean, we can score more than we concede, and I think we can win games. Jota, Robertson on a wild card. I'll take my chances with the Jota. If it doesn't work out this week, I'll switch him to Isak in 35, 36. I mean, the call is yours, but I'll take my chances with the Jota here. I only have 8 doublers. Have to start Raya, Trippier, and one of Isak or Martinelli. My bench players are Botman or Watkins. What should I do? I'm gonna try to get in more doublers if you can. If you can't, then you start Raya, Trippier, decent potential, and Isak. I think you can go for Isak as an option. Shaw, Trippier, but I'll take a -4 for Shaw. I think I'm okay getting in Shaw this week. Also sets me up for 37 as well. I think Shaw in isolation also is a good option. I know he can play centre back. The potential might be lesser, but I think it's still fine. Salah and Robertson for -4. I think it's okay. Or Salah, I mean, that's the question that I remember. Salah, Trent, and Solanke for -8. I mean, so the essential question here is that is Trent worth a -4 over a Robertson, right? That's the essential question that you're basically debating in your head. I personally think over the next few games he could be, may not be this week. Maybe Liverpool lose their clean sheets in both games, and maybe both of their defenders also don't get the desired attacking return. So may not come off this week, but I think overall Trent in that new role has definitely looked a lot better. Good for assist potential as well. He has been getting a lot of assists and good for bonus points as well. So I think I'll take a hit. I know it's like it's looking like -4 additional -4 wasted or spent, but I think over the long run, assuming this is a long term hold by probably till the end of the season, I think I'll take my chance. But isn't there a chance of Isak not starting? He didn't start the last game. I don't think so. Wilson has that has that fitness levels to basically start a game every 3 or 4 days. And because of that fact, I think Isak was given a rest. Also because of the fact that he was starting a lot of games, and Wilson was coming from the bench. Wilson has got his game. I think it's Isak who's probably going to get his start in game week 34 against Southampton, and there's a lot of good potential with Isak. So that's my reading of the game. That's my reading of the situation at Newcastle. If you feel that he's probably not going to start, maybe start somebody else. Maybe you know go for Martinelli as your starting option. But I do think that Isak is going to start. Jota and Gakpo or Solanke and Salah on a for a bench boost. I mean, Solanke and Salah definitely better. I mean, there is no way I'm negotiating with a Mo Salah, right? I mean, whether it's Jota, whether it's Gakpo, whether it's a combination, whether it's Trent, I think Salah is definitely better than all of these options. Start Jota or Isak. I'll start Jota. More aggressive option. I'll take my chances. If I have him, might as well just give it a shot and see what happens there. Better captain KDB or Haaland. Safer is Haaland in case if you're going aggressive, in case if you're points chasing, haul chasing, in case if you feel that you need to catch up on your mini league rivals. I think perfect punt is KDB, but I think safer absolutely is Haaland this week. I still have triple captain. Should I use it this week? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Why not? Haaland is a great option in terms of captaincy, great potential. We are fairly confident that he gets both starts, and I think because of the fact that we are so confident, I think you can definitely use a triple captain on Haaland this week. Good luck to you as well, Ravineshwar. Thanks for joining in, tuning in. Is 40 points enough of a gap to captain somebody other than Haaland, or can this be made up in other weeks? I mean, it can be made up in other weeks through regular transfers. Let's say you get in something like KDB, maybe you punt on a second Liverpool defender, maybe you punt on an Alvarez or Mahrez or Foden, Bruno plus Rashford combination. I still feel, I mean, personally, I think it's a risk, and I think there could be these 40 points made up in other weeks. But if you feel that you maybe not seeing yourself making all of those moves that I just mentioned, and going against Haaland this week is an option, maybe you go for it. But I still feel this is probably not the week where you. Well, I know that there are alternative captaincy options, but I still have my doubts on going against Haaland and going on a spiral route where you end up losing a lot of rank. So I think I'll try to make in a couple of moves. Maybe go for a differential captaincy option in 36. I think that's a direction where you could look at. You can also look for a differential captaincy option in 37. Maybe don't look for Haaland. Maybe look for a Man United option. I think that could be a bet as well. And then 38 as well. 38 is a lottery of sorts because you still don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what your rival is going to do in your league and all that stuff. But I think probably not take that risk this week. Maybe try it next week or maybe the weeks after. Which he defender target other than Stones? Diaz is the mostly nailed, I think, option. If money is an issue, if he's too expensive, if you can't afford him, then maybe go for something like an Akanji. All of them can get, can get benched, can lose out on minutes. I know you're asking defender, but overall, the pick in defense or the more nailed pick in defense is Edison in goal. But I mean, Diaz for me the most nailed option among City defenders. But I mean, all of them can get benched. Random benchings can occur, and you might try to get in the most nailed option, and that option is bench in the first game itself. So that can absolutely happen. I have a free hit. Should I use? I think it's a great week to use your free hit. Better week to use your free hit than 37. The point ceiling for 34 free hit is definitely a lot higher. You can jump onto players like a KDP plus Salah, a combination of Trent plus Robertson. You can get in Jota. There are gains to be made here, and I think that's probably not the same in 37. So I'll use the free hit if I have it. Same bench as you, worth the bench boost. I mean, Greenwood is a dud player. He's not going to get minutes. Maybe see what bench you can have for 37. If it's a better bench, if it's an additional transfer, you anyways wasting. I mean, what I mean to say is that if it's a transfer you can make to upgrade a Greenwood to a different option, maybe and that basically makes your bench a lot better. Then you see a 37 transfer, see your 37 bench. If it's better, use it in 37. Or else, if Greenwood is anyways going to be in 37, and I mean, who's Newcastle playing in 37? Let's just quickly see that. It's Leicester, right? I mean, there's potential for Newcastle to at least score, if not keep a clean sheet. But I mean, if this is the exact bench, and I think 37, Chelsea have a double, but then I mean, it's not a very easy double at all. It's Man City United, so I don't think so. Kepa is gonna, keep a clean sheet in either game. But I think there is some saves potential there. So if it's the same bench, no changes, this versus 37, I still take my chance with 34 than a 37. But if you can maybe upgrade a Greenwood to a different option, and that might be making your bench, slightly better. Maybe you go Solanke. I think Bournemouth has United. That's also not an easy game. See what can you get in your 37 bench boost. If it's not really any better, use it this week. Who out of Raya, Botman, excuse me, who out of Raya, Botman, Watkins, Kepa, Martinelli should I sell to get another doubler in? Can't afford Edison. Can't afford any other City defender. Already have 3 Brighton. Mm, so you can't afford Edison. You can't afford a City defender. You already have 3 Brighton, so you can't get Steele in. I mean, Raya to David De Gea, not very convincing. I think I'll leave out the keeper spots. I'll just play Raya ahead of Kepa. I mean, I don't know how much money do you have, but Watkins to Jota, I don't think so that will be possible though. But that's an option. Maybe you can do that. Maybe you can double up on the end defense. It's not very interesting at all. Botman to a United defender. That's also an option. I don't know if you have to. I mean, I'm assuming you have Rashford already in your team. I'm assuming you probably have a Grealish as well in your team. Not a lot of options in there though. Triple captain Haaland is better this week or Game Week 37. I think with the information that we have right now, I think it's better this week. Good fixtures. 37 fixtures are Chelsea and Brighton. They're good from an attacking point of view. I mean, the fixtures are still okay. But I think by the time we still do not know what's going to happen, whether the league is wrapped up, whether Haaland gets injured, what is Man City doing, what are the other teams doing, we have no idea. So there are a lot of unknowns in there, and I think I'll rather stick with the information that I know and basically try to attack this week. Kunate's minutes prediction in this double game week. I mean, it's tricky. I still think as a second spot, I mean, it's going to be pretty close. I think Matip does. I still feel it's probably going to be one game. Basically, one game started by Matt. I think Van Dijk is definitely going to start both, and then the both games are shared between Matip and Konate. I think Or maybe Konate starts both and Matip definitely doesn't have the legs to start both games. And maybe Konate, definitely feel Konate starts one. Not 100% sure about two, but I definitely think that he starts one. And I mean, these are not sort of players who really come from the bench. Right? So if it's Konate starting, I think he'll end up playing the whole game. But I still think depends on Matip's fitness as well. He's definitely not going to start the second game if he's playing the first. And I think in that case, Konate definitely starts one. Most likely, it's going to be shared between both the players. 8 double game week players currently already did -4. Trent, Salah, Greenwood in for Chilwell, Grealish, Kane. Take the -8. Candidates are Steele in for Sanchez or Akanji for Pinnock, or just play Kepa and Botman, uh, Pinnock, Watkins. Um, I think I can get in Steele for Sanchez. I think that's if you have a Brighton spot open, you might as well do that. Take a -8 is fine. Prepares if Steele is that option and is a third Brighton option. I mean, he can give you doubles in 34, 36, and 37. So by the sheer volume of games, I think it's good to utilize that third Brighton spot and not let it go to waste. I know it's for an additional hit. Brighton may not keep a clean sheet this week, but I think it's worth the risk. Start Watkins. I missed this one. Got price out of Trent and Jota. I have Stones and Nunes. And took out Bruno for Rashford to fund it. Feels like season-ending moves. I mean, yeah, not having Trent, Jota, Stones, Nunes. I mean, it could still pay off. It could pay off massively, but let's see. Risky for sure. I mean, I'm still not very confident about Nunes. I mean, despite the flag on Jota, I'm still more confident about Jota. But let's see. Konate was well rested last game. I mean, he was, and I think Matip kind of came in. As I said, Matip doesn't have the legs to play, games in such a quick turnaround time. So maybe Konate starts both as well. But I mean, Liverpool aren't really keeping clean sheets, right? So if you're really depending on this player to keep clean sheets for you, because Konate doesn't really give you any attacking threat, I still don't think so. It's well worth it. I think there are better potential, better ways to look at it. I have Konate just looking for a bit of reassurance. I mean, I have my doubts, to be very very honest. First of all, doubts on him starting both. Secondly, him getting clean sheets in both, which I don't think so they will. Start Watkins or Trippier. I'll start Trippier. Sell Martinelli to Grealish for a -8. I think I'm okay doing that. With Grealish, it's a bit risky, but then you make your bet with Grealish, you hold him for the next few weeks, and then see how it plays out. If you don't want to do that, if you want to keep your options open with a Martinelli to maybe a different option in the future, that's also a potential option. But I think if you're going aggressive, you basically make this move. Watkins to Alvarez for a hit, I won't do it. Not sure about Alvarez's minutes. I mean, I'm expecting him to get maybe 60, 70 minutes, maybe more this week, but I'm not sure there. If this was game week 35, maybe I was a little bit more comfortable, but even then, we do not know that, Haaland is definitely going to get rested and Pep is probably going to play. I don't think so. Pep is going to play with Haaland and Alvarez both together, but I mean, yeah, not for a hit. Sell Tony or Watkins for Greenwood. Tony or Watkins for Greenwood for free money and to fund Trent Grealish. I think I'll do this move to fund Trent. I think Trent is a good option. Uh, I am keeping Watkins and selling Tony. I mean, yeah, you can sell Tony, keep Watkins. That's absolutely fine, and probably try to get in Trent from all these options. Which goalkeeper will you sell to get an Edison? I mean, depends on which goalkeepers do you have. If I have I mean, I'm not very comfortable selling Raya, though his fixtures in the upcoming games are actually quite tricky. But he is the highest scoring goalkeeper in the game. He makes a lot of saves, and Brentford, sorry, can basically get a dodgy clean sheet. So I think I mean I'm okay keeping Raya. Maybe if I have Kepa, because I'm anyways gonna just play one of Kepa or you know or Edison giving 37. So maybe if I have Kepa, I'll sell him. But yeah, I mean whichever keeper is there, I think most of them are a sell. Maybe apart from Raya, but I mean you can still make a case for Raya also selling. And if you want to go safer with Edison, because Edison's pretty much nailed, right? So you can sell any keeper. I don't think so. Any keeper is a must have or a must keep or whatever. And I think the general upside with keepers is also not very high. So don't think so. It's a huge decision. My choices this week are Pereira or Saka, and also Isak or Tony. What do you think? I can only pick one mid and one forward. I'll go Isak and Saka as a combination. I know Pereira has a double, but it's a tricky double. Not sure about his potential. Not sure about Fulham's potential overall. And I think Isak is a better pick, higher upside pick than Tony this week. Better Better fixture, higher chance of starting this week, considering that he was benched last time around. Wilson doesn't have the legs to start both games in such a short turnaround time. I think Isak plus Saka looks pretty decent. Edison, Estopinian, Trent, Dallo, Mitoma, Grealish, Salah, Rashford, March, Isak, Haaland. Subs are Watkins, Trippier, Botman. Bench boost is active. One free transfer is available. I'm assuming. Or you've already made your free transfer. I don't know. If there's a question, let me know. But this team overall looks pretty decent. I mean, you have Trippier, Watkins on the bench, Botman on the bench, which I think is fine. Grealish, Salah, Rashford, Mitoma, March. I think overall pretty solid. Start Botman or Pinnock. I'll start Botman. I'll sold Raya instead of Kepa for fuck's sake. I mean, as I said, right? I know I made a point about Raya having that saves potential and being the best goalkeeper in the game right now, scoring a lot of points, a lot of save points. But I don't think so. It's a huge deal to be very very honest. I mean, I think it's fine if you've sold Raya. I think Edison will give you clean sheets if City get clean sheets, but I still don't think so. It's a huge deal between any of the goalkeepers. Trade Trippier, sell Man City for Man City defender for a -4. I mean, you can take a punt on Stones. You can go for something like a Diaz if you have the money. But I mean, if you don't want to go very aggressive, you're gonna go safer. I think playing Trippier is the play here. If you are basically doing chasing, if you're attacking, trying to attack the upside, trying to go against the crowd, then you maybe go for Stones. I think that's the move you make. Depends on the risk appetite. I think both options are absolutely fine. Edison. Oh, that's already deadline. I didn't even realize it's 3:30 here in India. Going without Salah, wish me luck. Start Martin Trippier. I would have started Martinelli. Jota missing in training. Why not Darwin? I mean, I think Jota was missing in training, but it's not a serious injury to be very honest. I think there is potential for him to come back uh, in the second game. So I think I still feel Jota's first choice, and I think he's going to get majority minutes. So that's that. And that's the reason I don't think so. I'm going to fully trust Darwin. I think Darwin is still finding his feet. And I think Jota has been in good form. He's a streaky player. Klopp really trusts him, and he's on a good run. So I think all the signs are towards a Jota, Jota transfer, Jota start. Haven't made my transfer. I mean, I don't think so. This team really needs a transfer to be very, very honest. I think it's fine. You Edison, Estupinian, Trent. I mean, Estupinian, Trent, Dallo is a strong, triple up. You basically have your Man City covered. You have your Trent covered, and you have United covered. That's absolutely fine. Mitoma, Grealish, Salah, Rashford, March. It's probably the best or the most ideal five to go for. And then you have Isak and Haaland. I mean, it's fine. I don't think so. A move was required here. If you've kept one for free transfer, I think it basically will help you make another move or prepare yourself and your team for certain eventualities which we are not seeing right now, but which may happen in the future. So I think it's absolutely fine. Feels like Lampard will bench Kepa sooner. I mean, he does prefer Mendy, but I mean the whole Chelsea team, again, no disrespect, but the whole team has been rubbish, absolutely crap. So I don't know what's gonna happen. It doesn't even feel like Chelsea's wants to play in the Premier League, wants to finish the season. Maybe they want to. The fans really, really expect that. No, no, they're waiting for the season to get over and a good summer to come in where they can actually get a proper manager first, see what needs to be sold first because of the bloatedness of the squad that they have. I think there needs to be a few players that are basically sold and understand the manager's requirements, whosoever is coming, what kind of system that manager is playing, if they need a forward, if they need a certain I mean, on the outside of it, you always would feel that, considering Chelsea have made so many signings, they probably need to let go of certain players rather than, getting more players in. So let's see. Let's see what happens this summer. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Thank you so much again, guys, for joining in. All the best for game week 34. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful in basically helping you take your final calls before before the deadline. I really, really hope I saved my team and I made my transfers. I think I did. It's always the case with me where I don't really keep a lot of thought or give a lot of thought or see my team before the deadline. I think I should do that. But luckily, I made my moves and I've saved my team. Now next week it'll be a bit tricky. There won't be a deadline stream because I'm traveling next week so we won't be having a deadline stream. I'll try to see if I can push out on any videos. That also is looking a bit tricky. But do let me know what you wanna, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts. I'll try to basically cover all of those things through blogs, and I'll try to basically focus a little bit more on the written part of the content, because I'll be able to write at least. Of course, recording etc. Without the studio, without the place where I am at right now, I think it'll be a bit difficult, but that will be that. But yeah, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, on Twitter, uh, and anywhere else if you find me. And if you have any questions, I'll be available for sure, in terms of helping you with all your questions, in terms of all your dilemmas. I think 34 kind of, will be very interesting to see what happens, because it will possibly give us some trends in terms of what's the rotation thing with Liverpool, what's the rotation with with teams like City as well, and I think that will help us prepare slightly better for the double in game week 37 as well. So I think there are still a few weeks left to maybe make ground, and maybe not go for very risky captaincy punts most weeks, but yes, we can definitely target a few differentials in there, and try to go a bit different, try to gain rank, try to chase rank. There are weeks to still do that, but yeah, I mean, you have to kind of make your bed with the decision, with the thinking, where you have to either play safe and protect your rank, protect your position in your leagues, or just try to take a lot of risk, I think. But I think it'll be very interesting end to the season. All the best again for gaming 34. Have a great week, and I will see you guys next time, next week, in some way or the other. And I'll definitely try to keep in touch. Have a great week ahead. Do watch a lot of football, and do have a good time. That's me signing off. Take care and bye bye.